Hello? Anybody home? This is working, right? It wasn't that one time. Okay, let's see. Roar. Roar. And everybody's gone. Yeah, there's 5 people.
There's 5 people.
That's because they were already in here. All right, guys. Roar. 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 Today, that is not what I meant to do. I am all kinds of bad right now. Not paying attention. What am I doing? Okay. So I'm waiting on our lovely guest. She is supposedly on her way. You should be here anytime. Until then, I've got the superstar here. Everybody loves the superstar.
And one of the topics that you may be talking about today, I'm trying out a little bit.
Yeah, she's working on it. So she wanted to. Hey, Christopher. Okay, well, let's say hi to everybody. Who do we got in here? Okay, we have got C and Laura. I thought you weren't going to make it, Laura. And then there's Henry and Gabriel and Dan and Christopher. Eyeball. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you guys came. Still waiting on Mel. So anyway, I decided to have the superstar with me because I figured maybe we'd get extra views that way. You know, people would come to
Right.
Hey, it's Kristen. Yay, that's my girl.
Hi, Kristen.
So today we are going to talk about a couple of different things. Mel's got a few things she wants to say, and here she is. So here is my guest, you guys. You know her, you love her. It is the magnificent Mel.
Hey guys.
Oh, look at that. She took a shower and everything.
I did. My hair's still wet. Sorry.
It's all good.
Ah,
Mine's only just not wet because I, took that shower before, so a long time ago. So anyway, how are you today, Mel?
I can't complain. How are you?
Oh, I could complain, but it wouldn't do any good, so I don't.
Yeah.
So, okay, and Robert just come in. Hey, Robert. Dan says, let's see. Dan says, Mel.
Dan.
Christopher says, trouble just showed up. They don't like giving you a hard time or anything, do they?
Whatever.
You are a little, let me turn my speaker up because I can barely hear you.
You hear me now?
I can hear you. It was my volume on my computer.
Okay.
So, hey, Chris. Raw. I'm so glad so many people are showing up. It's all you and Anita, guys. I mean, seriously, everybody said Mel's coming, and then they heard Anita was going to be around. They're like, the superstars. I'm going to have to glom onto you guys to become YouTube famous. I'll be like dragging your, in your shadow. I'm just kidding. All right, so we had a couple of things we wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So where do you want to start off at? What is something you want to start off with?
Why people are still stick with cycling their tanks.
Ooh, that ought to get people's hackles up.
I think it's just, I don't know, like a waste of time almost.
Yeah. Hey, Mom.
For lack of a better way to say it.
Mama Dino.
That's my mom. She just came in. Yeah, a lot of people I don't generally tell beginners, that people that don't even know what the nitrogen cycle is, to do a fission cycle. But the only reason, I keep hearing squeak, the only reason is because they don't know how to monitor and all that. So what I usually tell them is to do research. Oh, and Mel left me. I think she got mad. No, I'm just kidding. She'll be back.
She'll be back in a minute.
Eyeball says he cycles every day, or she cycles every day. Yeah, she cycles every day. Good exercise. Hey, this one bikes constantly. She's always on her bike, and she's always trying to get me to bring home let her bring home other bikes so she can fix them. And we have no room for that mess. So there she is. She is back. She's learning this.
Technical difficulties. You were saying, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just saying that generally I don't tell people who don't even know what the nitrogen cycle is to fish and cycle, because it takes like all the time and intervention, and they're not always prepared for it.
Yeah, fishless cycling is less dangerous, but at least stakes wise, I guess the stakes aren't as high, but I feel like it's one, since the beneficial bacteria only grows to the load of your waste, the amount of waste your tank's producing, then who knows how much fish food you're sitting there, you're dosing ammonia to a certain amount. I mean, who knows how much 2 guppies produces ammonia waste wise, you know what I mean? So like if you're fishless cycling, you're growing, who knows how big of a bacteria load beneficial bacteria can handle wise. But so I just prefer, personally, I think it's better to cycle your tank, quote unquote, cycle your tank with using plants. Focus on growing plants first. Don't even worry about the fish first. If you want to go the no high stakes route, focus on growing your plants. You're not worried about killing fish either. Once your tank can grow plants, you're pretty much ready to slowly add a few fish. Right. And then it just goes from there. But when I first started, I did a fish in cycle, but I was testing that every day, every 24 hours using Prime. I think the plants and doing the fish in cycle is a lot less frustrating. As long as, like you said, you're on top of it, it's not dangerous. As long as you're on top of it, I just think it's more accurate and you're not sitting there frustrated because it's been 2 months and you still have ammonia,
Yeah, I get that. I really do. And honestly, I did fishing cycles when I first started, but that's just because I didn't know what the nitrogen cycle was. And I just got it from somebody and bought fish in it, and I didn't know any better. Now I learned better. And now, but by the time I learned better, I already had established filters in the tank that I just moved over to new tanks, and I started doing that. So I don't really have to worry so much about cycling the tank so much, but because I've just got that established filter media that I put in mine.
I just wish people, instead of telling people, you have to cycle your tank and stuff like that before you add fish, I wish people would be like, grow some plants.
Yeah.
Then add fish. Grow, because a tank that can grow plants is going to be 1,000 miles ahead of a tank where you're like, oh, I'm testing and I've got some nitrates now and no ammonia, ready for fish. Then people just slam it full of fish and it crashes. Whereas if you have a planted tank and your plants are growing and doing well, your plants are going to handle that for you. You're not worried about crashing your plants when you add fish. You know what I mean?
Right. Dan says he still recommends fishless cycling. And then
I disagree, Dan.
And then he said fishless cycling teaches patience from the start. New fish keepers need to learn to take stuff slowly. And, I agree with that. I also think that, I don't really know how to say this. Okay, because I lost my train of thought for a minute. I think that it's important to know about the nitrogen cycle and how it works before you just start throwing fish in. I don't know. I think having to do a fishless cycle helps you learn the process more. Without, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if I would have done a fishless cycle when I first started. I don't know. I don't now. When I don't have filtered media, but I test every day. I intervene when necessary. Put in I use safe. It's the same thing, but I put in the safe. I use do water changes and stuff like that as they're needed. So I don't generally do fishless cycles, but like I said, if it's a beginner, somebody who doesn't even know what the nitrogen cycle is and hasn't done any research, then I
Right.
generally tell them, yeah, do a fishless cycle because it's like, like was said, it's less dangerous for the fish. And
Well, I wouldn't go tell, a brand new beginner, go put fish in your tank today. I would tell them grow some plants and learn about the nitrogen cycle, but mainly grow some plants,
Right.
then put fish in.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize. I mean, it's not. You can have a fish tank without plants. That's a given. It's obvious. But
Right.
since I started using plants, there's like, if I can help it, if I've got enough plants for a tank, they're going in there. I mean, I'm not. The only time I ever use fake plants. Well, I've got fish that like to pull up plants, so I use fake plants for those. But other than that, if it's in a fish tank where the fish won't eat the plants or whatever, I generally use live plants.
There are ways around that too, though.
Yeah.
But it is a pain in the ass, so we'll give that to you.
It is.
Because people get these fish that are, I want to keep fish that aren't good with plants. So you're telling me to grow plants. Like, yeah, well, you could put house plants in your tank or grow them out the top. You could get, tougher plants. All these people say, oh, this fish isn't good with plants, like goldfish or whatever. You can definitely keep plants with goldfish. But like the bigger cichlids and stuff like that, I've seen people try to stick to the plants that grow outside the tank, but I've also seen it done with real plants in the tank. Just like they'll put it like in almost like a barrier, like a cage around the plant. Like it doesn't look great, but you got the plants and they're doing the work. You know what I mean? So
Diana, my mother, says she's fairly new to all this fish stuff. I've had fish before, but never really remembered doing all the stuff that you do now. I'm afraid I'll kill all my fish. So in a situation like hers, it's probably better to do a fishless cycle. Plus, she takes care of her husband constantly, and she may not have time to day. So doing a fishless cycle, and she doesn't have live plants. She doesn't know anything about plants, so she doesn't have any, and she's not quite ready to go there yet. But so she doesn't have. I mean, she has to do it. Doesn't have to, but it's probably better for someone in her situation to do it.
Right, definitely.
I've also grow some plants and read some fish books while you wait.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Underwater garden.
Right. Christopher says Mel and I will have to agree to disagree on this one. So yeah, I
don't know. I never did a fish list cycle, and I never will. I mean, the longer I do it, now I know more and probably don't have to, but I definitely, I don't know. I just think that with the tools that we have at our disposal, like I don't see, at least in most cases, but like you said, like not everybody can sit on their tank, and watch it, like crazy. But with the tools that we have available to us, I think, doing a fish in cycle and then slowly adding fish from there, focusing on growing your plants first. Like, I think that's just the way I went and the way I'll always go.
Yeah.
But like I said, like a tank that's growing plants, and if you get that down, that's going to be miles ahead of a tank that can just handle, some ammonia.
Right. Well, yeah, and plants will eat up that ammonia. Matter of fact, that's with plants. Some people have difficulty getting the cycle, cycling the thing cycling their tank because the plants eat all the ammonia and the nitrites, and so they don't ever get any nitrates. And so one of the things that I ask people when they're doing a fishless cycle with plants is, or ask them when they're doing a cycle when they're not getting nitrates or whatever. That's the first thing I ask them. Do you have live plants?
Right.
Because a lot of time that will, I don't want to say stall your cycle, it'll stall your expectations, but I mean.
Well, it kind of makes it less like impertinent, I guess, in my mind to wait for those nitrates. Like the plants are handling it.
That's what I was about to say. If you've got those plants in there, they're basically cycling that waste for you. The only difference is you don't get nitrates from it. You get growth, you get leaves, you get extra stems. If your plant's down here and then my next week gets up here, then it's cycling that ammonia. It's it's getting that through. It's growing. So I think plants are super important for
well, also the plants, when they're adjusting to your tank, they'll give off, some ammonia and waste as the leaves are breaking down, and then your bacteria is fed that way.
Right. Yeah. Dan says, I don't do fishless myself, but I still recommend them to others if I can't explain all the options. I yeah. Like when we were talking about new people that don't even really know the nitrogen cycle. See, that's one thing about, most of us that are probably in here right now is that we've done it enough that we know what it takes to do a fishless cycle.
But if you're new, like the stakes are the same in my mind between growing plants and doing a fishless cycle. I mean, you're either way, you're not worried about killing fish.
Right. Yeah.
And at least when you're growing plants, you can, focus on that and have something to watch rather than my invisible bacteria colony. You know what I mean? That I have to feed every day.
Yeah. Dan says back in the day, the fishing cycling meant sacrificing a few feeder fish or molly. Yeah.
Right.
They didn't intervene. They didn't have things like Safe or Prime or whatever. So Christopher says there's nothing wrong with doing a fishless cycle and growing plants at the same time. Plants love ammonia as long as you don't overdo it. That's basically, what we're talking about. So Ivo says, are you going to explain the nitrogen cycle? Do we need to? I mean, we can.
We got some new people in here.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm
go for it. If you don't know, I can.
Well, it's not really that difficult to explain. Your fish, when you put them in, or whatever your other ammonia source comes in and as waste, and then eventually you will get a set of bacteria that develops that takes that ammonia waste, and it basically eats it and converts it to nitrites, which is a lot less toxic than ammonia, but still super toxic to fish. And then you've got another set, when the nitrites start developing, you've got another set of bacteria that develops that takes those nitrites and converts it to nitrates. Now, the only way we know of so far to get rid of nitrates is either through live plants and or water changes to get the nitrates out. But the nitrates are so much less toxic than the other two. So that's what the cycle is about. But with what we were saying is with plants, it may not even really necessary to do the cycling of the tank with the bacteria, because if your plants are converting all that ammonia to their energy to grow, that's a cycle in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So
I think you did pretty good.
Okay. All right. So live plants are a very big bonus. You still squeaks, Mom? What squeaks? I'm all looking around like it's in here. Maybe it's your speakers or something. I don't know. I'm not hearing them anymore.
I'm hearing squeaks every now and then.
I heard that time. Where is that? It's gonna bug the crap out of me. I don't know where that's coming from. Is it? Okay, I don't know where that's coming from. Dan says it sounds like feedback, but I don't know where it could be.
It does sound like feedback.
Maybe it's you, Mel.
I don't know. It didn't do it to me last time I was on my phone.
Not either. I don't know. If it gets bothersome, I don't know. We can figure something out. Maybe if I mute my camera.
I don't want to touch anything because I'll disappear again.
Right. Well, if we keep hearing it, then what I might do is just go ahead and exit out of this one and start another one if we have to. But we'll just keep going in case. Right.
I'll heard it again.
Team says Mel is known for squeaking.
Squeak.
But so let's see. I'm trying to think if there was something I was going to say and then I missed it.
I mean, I refuse to do a tank without live plants now, and I mean, I don't really even worry about cycling tanks anymore. Like if I'm gonna start a new one, I'll plant it up and I'll just squeeze some old sponge filter in there and go.
Yeah. See, I have extra sponge filters in almost all my established tanks. So
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, Dan's getting impatient. He wants to see schmutz.
Oh my god. I was just thinking about that. I was like, do we show them now or do we wait?
Let's give him a sneak peek now and then make him stick around for the whole show.
Let me see if I can figure out how to turn this camera around from me.
That'll be fun. Good luck with that.
Without disappearing.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm pretty proud of this because Mel made the mistake of calling me whenever she was at the fish store. I was like, no, you got to get that one. You got to get that one. And then
yeah, I was going to pick a different one. And then she saw this one and was like, schmutz.
Yep. I was like, that's a
See his little chin?
It's so adorable.
Schmutz knows all.
Yes, he does. He knows it's feeding time too.
All right, that's right. I was gonna wait to feed him for the live stream.
Look at the pandas, the panda guys.
Yeah, he's getting on great in here. Nobody minds him. He doesn't mind anybody else.
My mom
even the wonder killies ignore him.
My mom says she needs schmutz, and Eyeball says good looking plants, and Dan says ooh me likes. I think everybody he's a resounding success. He's look at the pins. I love those things. I really want Dietrich to have some friends. Like knowing that that many in a what was it, a 40 gallon? I'm 55 right now. I'm like, I can have lots and lots of Dietrichs.
Yeah, I got 7 right now.
Man, I'm so jealous. I want some so badly. Yeah, my mom says my mom's got an angelfish, and it's supposed to be a girl. She doesn't know how to sex them, so she's not. She got them from somebody that had them as a pair, and the male died, so they're pretty sure it's a female. And she says Schmutz needs to go with Sunny with hers.
I think Schmutz has a few dates to attend then with Panda, and I guess.
Okay, hold on. You go ahead and talk, Mel.
I keep hearing the feedback. I think it is on your end. Yeah. Mr. Schmutz rolling the tank. I gotta figure out how to see you guys. Hold on.
Thank you. Yes, I'm doing my live. My neighbor didn't realize I was doing a live, so he come knocks on my door. Well,
oh yeah, I can't wait until Schmutz gets bigger.
Oh my gosh, she's so big already, and then she disappeared again. We'll wait for her to come back. That's funny. I'm sorry about the interruption, and the spooky music in the back was my doorbell. Mel's back! Yay!
Stop hitting buttons, Mel. Look at Kiwi. Kiwi's like, what is this? It's ginormous. He's used to being the biggest fish in the tank.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But not anymore.
He's a really pretty boy.
I've got 2 of his babies. Let's see if I can show you them. Here's one of his babies. Hold on. I don't know if you can see him very well.
No, well, I can't. My screen's small, but I'm sure.
Yeah, I got one of his babies in here, and then just the other day, I pulled out some floating plants from the big tank, and they're growing out. Or one baby hatched in here. I noticed today. I doubt we'll be able to see the baby in here. But I'm just growing snails and plants in here for the big old tank I'm building at work.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be so great! I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we'll see you around, Christopher. We know that you're here. And Cecil says, Mel, that is a pretty baby.
Thanks, Cecil.
So anyway, so we decided to do something today on the back of you telling us, wanting to talk about a certain subject. We put Anita's betta coal in my 20-gallon tank. It's planted with my coal corridoras and my longfin green dragon personal coats. So we are attempting to see how that goes. And so far it's been all good. So far it's going great. The only incident we had, it was actually Cole got in the way of a quarry and the quarry barreled right through him. So I mean, the quarry just kept going. So Christopher, I am vaping kiwi passion fruit nectarine. So yeah, I don't know why Christopher was asking me what I was vaping. And you made a batch of what with with isopropyl today. You made a batch of goo, I'm assuming. You gotta send me some goo. Hey, so yeah, he's gonna send me some real goo because if he sends me a reclaim, it gets lost in the mail or lost somewhere here. I never can get that damn reclaim. So
oh yeah.
He's so pretty. So anyway,
I'm gonna feed him.
Yeah, feed him. We'll feed him and then we'll talk.
Okay. Here comes the grub.
Here we go. I gotta make my screen.
We're gonna get a pile of pandagars and cories. Hold on. I'm one-handed this. Yeah, come on. My food drawer, everybody.
This thing is not helping me at all. There we go. Maybe that'll help.
All right, let's get a panda pile going here.
Oh shit. Yeah, I know you did, Christopher. You made money.
These are for Dan. These are the kelp wafers that Dan said his fish hates. Look at them piling up.
We made
just
some
ravaging.
And my fish are killing it. I even put it in with my blackworms. My blackworms love it and they eat it in no time.
The kelp wafers?
No, I said I made some rapashi this morning.
Oh, rapashi.
Yeah, and I had tried different kinds of rapashi before. My fish wouldn't touch it. But then I thought I've been using it as fry food because it's got all the nutrients and stuff in it. And so I thought I'll get a big thing of it because worst case scenario, I've got extra decent fry food. And I got it and we made some up and I'll be damned if every fish didn't act like they'd never eaten before when I put that in. Like, I was like, why didn't you do this before? Dan says he didn't say they hate it.
Dan, you're always talking about how your fish are not about the North Fin kelp wafers.
You did say they didn't like them or something. I remember you saying they wouldn't eat them.
Mm-hmm. I haven't tried these yet with Schmutz, so we'll see what he thinks. This is the Aquarium Co-op. The Aquarium Co-op freeze-dried tube effects, and I like to squish it down a bunch so that it sinks for my pandagars, or at least most of it.
Yeah.
I haven't tried these yet with him, so we'll see.
Oh, he said,
way, Panda.
I said they're not crazy about them, he said.
Ah. Oh, I guess he does like the tube effects.
Oh, he does. He really does. I think I kind of remember Dan doing a whole live or talking almost a whole live about how fish don't have a food preference.
Yeah, like I talked to some people and they're like, you should feed them the same thing all the time because in the wild they'll have like big explosions of one thing and whatever. Like they're not used to having different things every meal. And then I speak to other people who are just adamant about feeding them something different every meal, and I feed them something different every meal. Like because I figure, yeah, things explode in the wild, but then they're also grazing off of, there's so much biodiversity in the wild. There's no way you can tell me that fish is eating the same thing every day, all the time, and nothing else.
No, they're
Maybe a
opportunistic.
lot of one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I try to feed mine a variety too, and I was buying this brand and that brand and small things of this. Then I saw as many fish and as many tanks as I've got. I saw a huge, I think it was like 4-pound bucket of tropical flakes. And I was like, and it was like $30 or something, or $25, somewhere around there. I was like, I'm definitely getting that because yeah, this other way is getting super expensive. So I bought that big, but I also supplement it with like my white worms I grow, my black worms, frozen blood worms, frozen brine shrimp.
Right.
Shrimp, I mix a lot of that stuff in there too. So
Dan I try to give them something different every meal.
Yeah. Dan says, I mix the food up, but I do spend a lot on fancy stuff or fresh veggies. Or don't spend a lot. Sorry, he says, I don't spend a lot on fancy food or fresh veggies. I don't eat it mostly because I can't. Because I'm the type of person that spoils everything if I can, and Cecil said,
yeah. My Gars love zucchini.
Yeah. I've had some middle of the column fish. Which one? Oh, my electric blue Acaras, they will come down and eat the veggies. I've had to like literally shoo them away so the plecos can get to the veggies. Cecil says he feeds his something different every meal. Also, they need a variety.
Yeah.
She's going to bed. So night, Rosie. Thanks for coming and stopping by.
Good night.
She's it's like after midnight there for her. So Ireland. But yeah, so we do that. We feed as much of a variety as we can. Sometimes it's hard to on a budget, but that's the same, no different than us eating ramen for every meal when you're broke.
Right.
You don't like it, but you do what you got to do. So.
Oh, look at him going crazy over this kelp wafer.
Oh, it's 1 a.m. Rosie said. I forgot we started at 4:30 this time.
They're wrestling.
Oh, they are. They're going at it.
Panda pile. Oh, he got it.
Oh, he's going for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not about. Oh, he got interference.
Mm-hmm. It's like panda soccer.
Yeah. Ivo has a question. They say, I don't use the bottle bacteria to start up the cycle. Anyone have experience using it? I've used it. I used to buy it all the time. Like I would, anytime I had ammonia, I'd throw some in there just to make sure to help beneficial bacteria. And honestly, I haven't seen any huge difference, but maybe I was using something that wasn't very great, or
I use stability, all the time now, even though my tank is cycled. And I did use it when I was cycling my tanks. And in my opinion, why not? It can't hurt,
Right.
like I've had success with it, it's never a bad idea to have, something to help jumpstart that cycle for sure.
Yeah.
And I would do stability. I stick with stability, but Fritz Time 7, Fritz Turbo Start, all good ones for sure.
Yeah, I heard that. I have a friend that just swears by the Fritz. She loves it. I don't use it because it gets expensive, and I didn't see it. And yeah, it doesn't hurt to have it, and I'd love to have it, but
right.
When you've got this many tanks in your, it runs out fast and it's costly. And
right. But if you only have one and you're trying to start, cycling a tank, I would buy it.
Right. No,
I would say that's a must have if you only have the one tank.
Yeah, it'll boost things. I just don't like too many tanks to
right. I see like not wanting to constantly have it if you have like 1,000 tanks and you have a bunch that are already cycled. You could probably do without it, but if you can get it, I would.
Yeah, I was buying the gallon jugs.
Right.
But I had like several tanks cycling at once, and it was just like I didn't. It got too much. It got too much to me. I couldn't do it. $55 for a gallon jug of it, and the gallon
Right.
jug was gone in like 2 or 3 days. So I mean,
Right.
I don't have 50 something
And
dollars.
your fish aren't dying without it. I get that.
Yeah,
But
and
like I said, if you only have the one tank, it's different. Or
right, very
two.
much so. If you've got a bigger budget than I have, which is not hard to do, that's probably it's a good idea to have it too. Dan
Right.
says any decent fish food should be complete nutrition, but I mix it up just to be sure I'm not missing any trace nutrients.
Yep.
Good point, yeah, yeah, for sure. And Ivo says I use a used backup filter in my hospital tank to start a new tank. I don't see being a problem. That's what I generally do, but not in my hospital tank. I usually have it in my more established tanks. I don't usually use filters from the hospital tank in another tank, just simply because if you're using certain meds, you can kill the cycle on the, you
Right.
can,
And also you can cross contaminate things.
yeah. So
Um, yeah, also if you're keeping a spare filter, it's like you said, best to keep it in a already cycled tank. One of your tank that a tank that you have that, has stock in it so it can stay cycled.
right, exactly. Yeah, I have one, two, I have several tanks that have an extra filter or two in it. And it's a good thing I do because I keep putting up these tanks one after another, don't have time to replenish my backups in my established tanks. So it's a good thing I had a lot of cycled filters. So
Yeah.
Ivo says, what botanicals are in Schmutz's tank?
Okay, so I run a lot of different botanicals. This is a bale pod. I'll do different like pods and stuff for like natural hides and stuff. But I also do a lot of leaf litter as well. Cashew leaves, Indian almond leaves, various pods, like I said, jackfruit leaves. What else do I do? Mangrove leaves. Basically, most any leaf I can get, my hands on, I'll toss in here, and various, just natural things, just to kind of, keep it as a natural environment as possible. Because in the wild, all kinds of stuff falls down into the bodies of water and starts to
Right,
break down. So
right.
I try to always keep leaves and pods. I got various cones in here too. Just helps grow biofilm and just keep the microfauna happy and present.
Oh, there's microorganisms and stuff. Love that stuff. And the
Hmm.
fish love microorganisms. So Ivo says it looks nice. In the
Thank
little
you.
jelly house tank, I used to have a really nice flourishing. The Curse tank used to be a really nice flourishing tank, and I was so proud of it. And now it's so sparse and not so pretty, and dead snail shells everywhere. But actually, speaking of that, I'm thinking of doing a live where we redo the Curse tank, where I take everything out except the fish, of course.
That would
Try to
be fun.
snail shells and put it back together with live plants and stuff. So
That would be super fun.
yeah.
I'm gonna
So
put more plants in here soon.
is there any room for more plants?
Yeah, definitely. Always room for more plants.
Oh my goodness.
Yep,
Yeah, so,
I like me a jungle.
oh, I do too. That's why I loved it. I showed you that picture of the Curse tank when it first,
Yeah, you did. It was beautiful, and it'll come back.
It will. It's already starting to come back. We put some plants in there because all the plants were basically uprooted and pulled out when we were doing things like removing fish and the medicating. The plants didn't kind of like that very much. So the plants have either been pulled out or they're, but the point is we put some back in it, and they're actually growing pretty well. So, and my Amazon stores, I have two of them in there, and they weren't growing really well at all, which is weird because Amazon stores shoot up and they take over everything. So,
Right.
but they weren't growing very well. They seem to be doing better now, but also my loaches have basically eaten most of the snails. My loaches and my cories have eaten a ton of snails. My substrate is littered with snail shells.
Yeah, I have to physically smash my ram's horn snails to get my cories to eat them.
Ooh, I couldn't do that. And nope. I feel bad smishing snails.
I only do it to the little ones, and only when I'm trying to get them to spawn.
Yeah,
And then I have a lot. It's no different than, feeding them to your puffer fish.
No, yeah, I just can't do it myself. I'm like, you do it.
Right.
But yeah, no, the funny thing is, you know how I discovered that cories eat snails? I never knew they would do that. I had them had some juveniles in a 20-gallon long, and there was nothing in there besides the juveniles. It was just substrate, a couple hides, no real plants or anything, because they weren't going to be in there long. I was selling them, and I was just using it to grow them out a little bit. And some snails got in there because I put some floating plants in there and some, I think, Java moss or something to give them a little bit of comfort. And next thing I know, I walk over, I see the cory just like doing this dive and then flipping himself up in the air. I was like, what is he doing? So I went over there and looked. There was a snail on the ground. He was dive bombing it. And he dive bombed it, grabbed the snail out of the shell, and just like went back up and swallowed it.
Wow. I have not seen that.
Oh, yeah. I had never seen that either. I really haven't seen it since. I've seen them on snail shells and eating it, but I've not seen one dive bomb it like that one. Apparently that one was pretty hungry, which is kind of funny because I fed him 4 times a day. But
right.
Let's see. Okay, I've missed some comments here. Okay, my mom says she has her tank stand put together and will be setting up her 75 as soon as she gets the substrate put in.
75 is a great size.
Yeah, I'm going to be sending her some of my cories and a pleco, I believe. So, and Dan says Mel only crushes the baby snail.
Only the babies.
Yep, only the babies. And then my mom says she found out that goldfish eat snails after about 20 of her snails. Her nerites came up missing.
Nerites? They eat nerites?
Yes.
The goldfish?
She found empty snails and everything in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and she had put, I think it was 10 in the first place, and they all disappeared. And I was like, Mom, they're probably just hiding in the, they like to dig sometimes and they hide under it and stuff. They're probably just hiding. And she did something, I don't know what she's doing, but she looked through her tank for whatever reason, and she found a few of them, but then she found a few empty shells too. So pretty certain that the goldfish ate them.
Yeah, I didn't know goldfish went after snails like that.
Yep.
Learn something new every day in the hobby.
Yeah, I had read it and I had, seen it in videos, people saying it, but I've never had goldfish, so I didn't really think it was possible. Or not possible, but I just didn't think they did that. I didn't think about it. So yeah, but it makes sense because they're garbage. They'll eat anything. They'll eat, they're pandas, not pandas, raccoons. That's what I was trying to say. They'll eat anything. Dan says goldfish eat any damn thing. That's right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's so cute, man.
Who, Smudge or Schmutz?
I can't quit looking at him.
Yeah, I could watch him for hours. I can't wait till he gets bigger.
Yeah, and those stripes darken. He's just gonna have it. He's just gonna look so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see why they call him angelfish. Oh
yeah.
Mom's got one lone olive nerite left. She's bought 20. She bought 10. She bought 10 zebra nerites in the first place, and then those were gone. And then she bought 10 more olive nerites, and now those are all gone except for one.
I have one nerite snail, and that's why all these little white spots. I gotta get those off the glass.
You got a female.
Yep, it's annoying.
Hey, Annie, I didn't see you down there. She says one of her comments ate 2 of her zebra snails.
Zebra snails.
Yeah, the Neorites, the zebra Neorites.
Oh, okay. I was like, is that something else I have never heard of?
No, it's just the Neorites. There, a lot of people call them
That's
zebra.
probably what I have. It's like yellow with a bunch of black stripes.
That's a zebra.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's see.
I'm going to try. He loves these. I'm going to give him a little bit more. Hold on. Just because.
You know how I said we moved Cole the betta to the other tank? I keep looking over there to check on him because he's over to my left, and I keep checking on him to make sure that, you know, there's no shenanigans going on. And it's hilarious. He's more interested in his reflection in the side of the tank than he is anything else. There was a Corey that wouldn't get out of his way. He went around the Corey because the Corey would not move. It was just not moving. He's busy going up and down the glass. He doesn't care about the others. Thought we were gonna have a problem at first because I thought he chased a Neorite or a Neorite. Listening, chased a Corey earlier, but come to find out, the Corey just like barreled past him when he was swimming somewhere. It looked like it. Poor thing. My Corys are they're bulldozers. They do not care if they want to go somewhere. They're going. So
You breed a lot of Corys?
right now it's just the albinos that are spawning, but I've got the false Julies, smudge spots, and well, I've got blue Corys, violet Corys. One of them, I think the blue Corys is also called smudge spot Corys. Yeah, and then I've got Obrosis, the dwarf Cory, which is and then I've got false Julies and albinos. Albinos so far are the young ones that have spawned, but I haven't had the other ones long. The Habrosis, I really haven't tried to get them to spawn. I had like 6 or 8 of them, and then a bunch of them died off, and I've only got 4 left. So I don't really know if I've got enough males and females for them to spawn. I've been trying to find more to put in there with them, but apparently they have a season and they're out of season, and so nobody has them.
My pepper Corys spawn every time I turn around, but I got a couple of CW27 Revirostrus hyphen Corys in here.
Yeah.
And I cannot for the life of me find any more of them. They don't spawn. There's only 2 of them, but they do stay buddy. I don't know. I found them in a random Cory tank at the local fish store. They didn't even know what they were when I got them. But you gotta love Corys.
Oh, I love my Corys. I try to pretty much all of my tanks. Let's see. Well, not all my tanks, but a good chunk of tanks have Corys in them, and it's like they're really good at cleaning up the bottom. They make things a lot easier.
Yeah, I think I would have Corys in every tank if I could. You know, like if I think most fish you can.
No.
At least until you're talking like, you know, big fish.
Right. Yeah, because Corys are, you know, generally peaceful. Like I said, though, mine are assholes. I mean, they really are.
Your Corys are assholes.
They are. Sid, my electric blue Akara, he's like my big one. He's like 4 inches or something, and he is a big brat. He is. Whenever we had him in with the other Akaras, he would chase them and bully them, and he was just mean. Well, you know, relatively. He was just a brat. He was, and he acted like a spoiled kid that always got his way. And when I separated them, I put Corys, my juveniles that I hadn't sold yet. I put some of them in his tank, and I'll be damned, they run over him all the time. That poor guy hides behind the cave to get away from the Corys more than he does anything.
Aww.
He was the first time I saw it happen. He was I've got two 55s right next to each other, and I've got Sid in one tank, and then I've got Gidget, my smallest electric blue Akara, in the other tank. And the glass, there's nothing between them to keep them from seeing each other. So they will go to the glass, and they'll kind of glass surf a little bit every once in a while, and, you know, like they're saying hi to each other. And the Corys decided that corner was the corner they wanted in. So they went to the corner, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. Sid's going to get mad. He's going to chase them out of the way. Nope, they bopped him on the head going up and down so many times. He was just like, what the hell is going on?
Wow.
He turned around and went and hid behind the cave. It was, I didn't know whether to feel bad for him or,
It's like your Corys have, what is that, like little dog syndrome?
Yeah, they're like, it's like the mafia in his tank. They take over where they want to go. If you get in the way, you better get out. They'll run right over you. So, but yeah, my Corys are big brats, and I didn't think that. I thought it was just the ones I put in there, but all of my albino Corys are pretty much the same way. They don't get out of the way of the bigger fish. They don't care. Like, they do not care at all. They will sit there until they are physically shoved out of the way. So I think it's hilarious. But
Yeah, I mean, as far as I guess the original topic goes, though, in my opinion, my first the first thing I worry about with a tank is the plants, and I guess coming from me, that's kind of easy to say, though, because I really haven't kept anything that's hard on plants or difficult to keep with plants. But I do know that even if I did, I would at least be focusing on getting stuff to grow out the tank.
right.
I just feel like it just goes hand in hand for me.
Yeah. Oh, my mom says her angelfish gives the goldfish a hard time, and they are 3 times bigger than she is.
Even fish have little dog syndrome.
Yeah, she's got Sunny, her angelfish, was given to her, and she didn't know that angelfish like hot temperatures. Goldfish generally like cool temperatures. So, of
Right.
course, but that's why she got the 75, is so that way she could put her angel in something. Ooh, Smuts is going after.
Yeah, he's chasing some little baby swordtails because he wants all the food that I just put in there.
He's like, that's my food.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen him do that yet, but he's not like chasing. He's just like F off.
Yeah.
Get
like
away from my food.
He's like me when I get up in the morning. Don't talk to me. Go the fudge away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this tank's big enough. I mean, and he doesn't straight bolt after him. He just short little pecks.
Yeah, and they've got plenty of places to hide with all those plants and stuff in there. They're fine.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But yeah, the plants, I was growing plants out of the back of my 55s, especially the original one I had the Acaras in, because again, couldn't put live plants really in with them. I had some live plants. I had live plants in there. They pulled them up and they would drag them around the tank, literally like a dog with a freaking Zoomies and his favorite toy in his mouth, go around and around the tank with the plants in their mouth, and then they would let them go. Yeah, Sid he would pull them up, let them go in the bubbles of the filter, and they would go up to the top, and he would rush up there real quick, grab them, drag them down real fast, like he's playing tug of war with them, and then just let them go and let them go back up. And he would do this over and over, and then the others would take and they would grab them and go around the tank. So I was like, I went through so much putting those plants in there, and they were all floating, all of them. So I was like,
wow.
Yeah, that's not going to work. But the funny thing is, now that we've separated them, I've got a few live plants. Like I've got 1 or 2 rhizome plants. I think they're Java ferns in with him. He's left the biggest one alone, but the other few are floating already. But I've got Gidget, the smallest one, in the cursed tank, and there's plants all over. And the only plants that are uprooted are the ones that Corey's uprooted when they were going through the sand. She hasn't touched them. She hasn't touched any of the plants. So it's kind of like hit or miss. You can probably get away with doing plants for some difficult fish species that usually don't like plants.
Yeah, the whole they're all individuals. I've definitely found rings true.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially when you get some like these Acaras, they have personalities. Oh, very big personalities. So
you have the electric blues, right?
I do. I would like to have some regular blue Acaras, but it's not something that is around here much. So or that I've seen much of. So, oh no.
You do have schmutz on your screen, Dan.
Uh-huh.
Everybody has schmutz on their screen.
And if they don't, they better. Yes, I'm very proud of the fact that I was complicit in the whole schmutz.
Yeah, you're his auntie. For sure. I wonder how big he's gonna get.
I don't know. They can get pretty big, especially males, can't they?
Yeah, but I know that even then they'll vary a little bit. Like I don't think he's gonna get he's certainly not gonna get like ultim big probably, but
Right.
I saw some bigger ones. I showed you them at the store. They were pretty decent size. And those that I showed you in the tank, they were in the same size tank as this, and they still look like they had plenty of room.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun to watch them grow. It's like I was telling you, I much rather enjoy getting my fish small and raising them and watching them grow rather than just buying a full size. Because I did that with my Pandagaras. I got 8 of them when they were, still tiny little babies, and I got to watch them grow. And then I bought 2 of them when they were already big, and it was so much more fun watching them grow.
My mom said those are pretty, Mel.
Thank you.
But yeah, the only time that I really care about really want adult fish is when I'm wanting to use them for a breeding project.
Right.
So, so you don't have to wait for them to grow out, because you're going to have plenty of littles to grow out, when you get them started. So the only problem with that, though, is you don't always know how old they are. Like my Rackaby Achilles, they're annuals. So getting them as adults can be problematic, because you don't know how old they are. They could be at the end of their life, too old to breed, that kind of thing. And I just found yesterday or a couple of days ago, my time is not my friend. I can't remember time. So, but I found him dead in the bottom of the tank, and there was no sign of illness. He showed no sign of illness before. The only 2 things in there are him and the female, so it couldn't have been another fish attacking him. And the female is acting completely fine. There are no marks or obvious injuries or illnesses on her. So I'm wondering if he might have been older, because they only live like a year, 6 or 8 months to a year, something like that, I think. So,
yeah, I can't. I try to stay away from any fish that doesn't at least live 3 to 5 years, because I'm a baby about that.
Yeah. I can be a little bit of a baby, but about it, don't tell my mom I said that, because she'll tell you that I'm a big baby about it. She hated when any of our animals would die. I remember her telling me every time, "We're not getting any more animals if you act like."
Speaking of that, I feel like whenever somebody loses a fish in the hobby, the last thing they think about is how old was it.
Yeah.
I always feel like they just jump to what happened, what's wrong, is it sick, is everybody gonna die? You know what I mean? Like I feel like the last thing we ask ourselves is how old was our fish? How long did they live?
Right. Yeah, the first time I have Colombian tetras in here that I got. Well, I've got 2 sets of Colombian tetras together now. I got one group from a friend of mine, and then I got another 2 or 3, maybe 4, I don't remember, from some guy that I didn't really know. And he had told me he thought they were older, and I forgot. And then one of them died. One of the Colombian tetras died. I didn't see anything wrong with them, but I thought, I don't know anything about fish. This is new to me. So I freaked out. I texted him. I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, the rest of their group, they've already died off. They're old. They're like 5 or 6 years old. So I was like, oh, okay. That made me feel a little bit better. But in the meantime, I freaked out and was looking for all the medications. I had ordered a bunch of medications and stuff. I didn't know what was going on, but I was going to be prepared. I did not know. So, see, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? My mom, she's a big baby. Don't let her lie to you. And Cecil says it's always more fun to get them when they are young and you raise them. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So,
yep. Also, they're usually cheaper that way too, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, it is. That's one reason why I like to I like to grow my cories out so long is because you get more money from them when they're bigger.
Yeah.
And cories are fun to watch anyway. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my video of them playing in the bubbles or not.
No, I still need to.
Oh, I sent it to you, didn't I?
No.
Oh, well, remind me after this and I'll send it to you. But it's adorable. I had told somebody that my cories love to play in the bubbles, and they were like, and that's why I've got it turned up so high. And they were like, no, they're probably being sucked in and they're terrified for their life. They can't escape. So I was like, watch this. And I said, now tell me these guys are sucked in and terrified for their life. They were literally lining up and taking turns going through the bubbles and going
Yeah,
over.
I found my pandagars like to play in any kind of bubbles or current.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know pandagars like current until I had the container of cory eggs. Don't tell me they spawned again. I think my juvenile cory spawned again. Anyway, I had a container of cory eggs floating in the tank with them and had an air stone in it. Well, when I took them out because the cory eggs hatched and I put them in a breeder box, removed the container. Well, I just tossed the air stone in the tank and just let it keep going. And I've noticed Dietrich, my Pandagara, he goes into the bubbles and he sticks to the glass behind the bubbles and just stays there. He loves it.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom says, how long do angelfish live?
I read 10 to 12 years, but that's just what I read on the internet. So this is my first angelfish. I am by no means an angelfish expert.
Yeah. If it's on the internet, it must be true, right?
Right.
Dan
I saw it on the internet. It is true.
He says he sees fish surf to flow from power heads. Exactly. Yeah. And it's funny because I've been told my killifish don't like flow. Yet every time, every time my juveniles especially are surfing the bubbles in the sponge filter.
I've heard that too. And my golden wonder killies will swim directly into the current, like on purpose. Like there's like this whole side of the tank is pretty relaxed. And then I've got this, you can see it blowing the plants around over here, the Shark Pro, and they will just swim straight into this current, like on purpose.
Yeah.
And just like almost like a treadmill. And I read on the internet they hate flow. Killifish aren't good with flow, but I don't know. I don't believe it necessarily, but that is a thing though. Like you'll read certain fish do and don't like flow, and then the people that read, oh, my fish likes flow, so I got to make it a darn washing machine in my tank. I feel like people are like, oh, like Hillstream loafers, they're like, oh, this fish needs flow, I better turn it all the way up to 100, like, no.
Yeah, I've got hill streams, and I had a power head on for a while, but then I put a rice fish in there, and the poor thing, she was at the top, so she kept getting blown around. And then I got to thinking my white clouds are in there, and their babies go to the top when they spawn, so that's not going to work. And so I turned the power head off. Those hill streams don't give a flying nothing. Like they don't mind doing anyway. They play, they eat, they're doing great, they're huge. I mean, I'm honestly any day looking for babies to come out of the rocks. So
I've seen many examples of Hillstream loaches doing marvelously with no flow.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like a lot of things in this hobby are just, you got to do it and find out.
Right.
Like you can get some guidance. Don't get me wrong, there's definite guidance out there, but like eventually you just gotta find out, I feel like, because there are so many nuances and like, fish have their own personalities and this type and the other. And, just sometimes it just takes to doing it to get a for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a matter of instead of looking at these as hard and fast rules, they're guidelines. They're like if you're new and you don't want to start experimenting it when you're new because that could lead down the wrong roads. You don't know what you're doing. But if as you start learning, you can put fish together that might not necessarily go together in other people's minds, and it might work. Like the bettas in community tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say you can't put bettas with guppies and platies and stuff like that because they'll they'll nip each other's fins and stuff like that. And I can attest to that. I put with Anita's first betta, Shadow, we put some platies in. He bullied them. Like they were terrified to even come out from behind the plants and stuff to eat. And one day I noticed there was a huge chunk, like half of one of the platy's tails was missing. And I was like, nah, we can't do this anymore. So I took him out. We didn't try any more fish with him because it was obvious that, he just wasn't into that. He was happy by themselves. But then we've got Cole over here that so far is doing well. I say that with my fingers crossed.
Knock on wood, right?
Right. Dan says his betta seems okay in a community, and a lot of bettas do community, right?
Yeah, I had 2 bettas, female bettas they were, but still they were plakat. I kept them with all kinds of community fish perfectly fine. Just heavily planted, make sure that, they aren't being, bothered themselves. And I feel like a lot of times they weren't the aggressor there. You know what I mean? Like betas are actually great community fish, in my opinion, most of the time. Like you said, you could get one with a screw loose, but most I had, no problem keeping bettas in community tanks, for sure. It's actually my favorite way to keep them.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they've got the temperament for it, that's, I mean, who likes to be alone,
Right.
I mean, put him with some buddies, but like, yeah, we tried it with Shadow and he didn't do well with it. So we just left him alone. He was fine with all, my daughter played with him all the time and he was good with it. He was fine. But then, Cole, her new one, well, not her newest, her other one, is he's doing okay in there. He doesn't seem to be bothered by them and he stays away from them for the most part. And he spent a lot of time staring at his reflection in the glass. So it was like, he did not seem to like the idea that he was all by himself. So I figured we'd try it. And when you mentioned the betta in a community tank thing, and he was like, oh, that's a good idea. We should try that. I was like, oh God, here we go. Another one, which I don't mind, One
thing I would stay away from, and I still don't want to try, is the sorority.
Oh yeah.
Just because, like I want to be able to sleep at night and not wonder if today's the day hell's going to break loose. Like it could go well forever. And, all of a sudden somebody, gets mean all of a sudden after, being fine for so long. And I just the least amount of things I have to worry about, please,
Right.
But yeah, definitely bettas in a community tank is, I'd rather keep them that way than by themselves.
Yeah,
but yes, always have a backup plan.
Right, that's what I was about to say. People who want to do it, but then they don't have anywhere to put them, put the fish if something happens. So, and another thing that I found was a good idea is always put the betta in last.
Right. So they haven't already established their territory.
Right. I think that's where I messed up with Shadow the first time, is because I didn't realize that. And I had put him in a tank thinking that he would be, good in there. And then I needed to move the platies for some reason. I don't remember why. But I think there was a female in there, and I didn't want them to get pregnant, maybe, or something. Anyway, I was planning on getting rid of the platies anyway, so I put them in there thinking they'd be okay until I found them a home, and no, it didn't work. So I had to go surrender them to the local fish stores, so that way, they'd have a home, because I couldn't find out. Nobody wanted them, so I couldn't find a home for them. And so I just took them up there and what do you call it? Gave them up. Yeah. Anyway, so we didn't try it again with him, but looking back on it, that probably would have been the best bet if I had just put them in first and then allowed them to get their bearings before putting Shadow in. So that might have helped out.
Yeah. Yeah, Zine, definitely giving fish a place to get away from the flow is definitely the best, and giving them an option to have flow or not, for sure, is how I set this tank up that way. You know, you
Yeah.
got to think like in the wild, they have an option usually. You know, they can go hide under some rocks in a slower part of the stream, or they can go in the current. You know,
Right.
so
You can see the chat now. Yay!
I have to go a weird place. I figured it out, but I
Nice.
can't I have to go a weird place and try not to disappear while I hit buttons.
Just be careful which buttons you push.
They found the kelp wafer again. These things hold up really well. Look how solid they still are. And they've been in there for a minute.
Oh my goodness. That's funny. They're so cute. I think, oh my goodness, panda guards have really got my attention.
They are my favorite.
They're
Oh,
so cute.
speaking of next time, I wanted to do this and I totally forgot. If I put my hand in this tank, they will swarm my hand. Usually it's when they're hungry. They will just sort of graze on my arm and
Yeah.
exfoliate me.
That's
And
funny.
I don't know that they do it now that they have food that they're all over right now.
Yeah, probably not. They're
But
too in the food.
But yeah, it's the best. They're just so interactive and not at all shy.
Yeah, Anita will pet Dietrich, our panda guard. She'll pet him. He'll sit there for a few seconds and let it go, and then he'll be like, "Nah, I'm good," and he'll swim off. But he doesn't do it in a hurry, like he's not scared. He's just like, "Nah, I'm good for now," and he just said, "Bye." My mom wants some panda guards. Okay, let me tell you something, Mom. If you get a lot of panda guards before I do, we're gonna have some problems.
Why don't I just ship you some of those babies we saw at the store when we got schmutz?
Yes, do so.
They had so many.
Yes. Yeah, we'll figure out how much they cost, and I'll save up my money. Tighten my belt a little bit more, maybe eat some more ramen, and then buy me some pandagoras.
Yeah, you gotta get them when they're small because I paid $30 a fish for them while they're this size.
Yes, yeah.
And they're full grown and they're probably about the size of my pinky.
Yep.
But when they're small, I think they're like between $8 and $9 usually.
Yes, the mine are $22.99 or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm like this. I bought one because I was told they'd be good and by themselves, and I had done a little bit of research on them because I liked them, but I didn't.
Yeah, they're a lot more social than you think.
Yeah. Oh no, I can see that now, definitely. And since I had gotten them, I did some more reading and watching and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't say they need a group. I don't think you're punishing him by keeping him alone, but it's like a lot of fish. It's just you get a lot more of that natural behavior, and they get to be actual pandagoras and create a social hierarchy and stuff that he doesn't get to do if they're alone.
Right. Christopher says, sucks. Shirley can't order $5 Panagara from Oklahoma. Yes, that really, that burns me alive.
Yeah. Why not?
They're like the cheapest and like place to buy fish a lot of times. And
I've heard horror stories though about them, and cheapest isn't always best.
No, I mean it kind of is for me, but
well,
no,
when it comes to fish, I get not being able to afford, like top dollar fish or whatever, but especially if I haven't seen the fish, there's just something about, I would rather save up, for a long ass time and spend a little bit more money than get something that I'm going to have to spend a bunch of money on medication to treat or it dies.
Well, let me clarify. When I say the cheaper is better for me, I mean from a reputable place. I don't mean just go out and buy somebody's fish at a
Is Aquahuna good?
Huh?
Is Aquahuna good? I've not tried them myself.
But they won't sell to anybody in Washington because they sell wholesale to the stores here and they won't compete with their buyers. Which is cool, but it kind of sucks too because, anyway. So but yeah, they, from what I understand, they're like people from all around Washington will come and buy from Aquahuna. So, and I've heard they're really good when they ship and everything too, but of course I can't, there's too
I've heard the Wet Spot has pretty decent prices.
Where's the wet? I've heard about Wet Spot too, but I haven't really looked.
I don't know what state it's in off the top of my head, but I do know that they're cheap and I hear good things. as far as relatively cheap. Like they're not I haven't heard let's say I haven't heard any horror stories about Wet Spot yet.
Right. My problem is they always get me with the shipping.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see somebody say like $50 for shipping. I'm like, I know that's needed because it's like, it's like 2 days shipping or something. And I get that, but it's
right.
like, oh my God, I don't want that extra $50. So I guess I'm not getting the fish. So it's kind of like I go through saying that, oh, Christopher says Wet Spot is in Seattle and it's so awesome. Oh, I'm going to have to check that out. I haven't checked them out because I haven't had money for fish. The only reason I was able to get the fish.
I don't know what their shipping's like.
No, I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Maybe it'll be cheaper because I'm in Washington with them.
Maybe, or you could go.
It's only 2 hours away. If I were to go up there for any reason, I would definitely, check it out. But right now my car barely makes it out of town, so I'm not rushing to Seattle anytime soon. But what was I going to say? Oh, what I tend to do with the shipping is I add it onto the price and then I divide it among how many fish I'm planning on getting. Like if the shipping is $50 and then fish are $10 a piece and I get 6 fish, that's $110. And then I divide it up by the 6 and see if it averages out. If I can get it cheaper than that average price here, like significantly cheaper, then I just do that. So,
right.
But if it's cheaper than I could get here, I go ahead and do it. So if it's a reputable place. So.
Yeah, I keep hearing that weird sound. Do you hear that?
I haven't heard it. Are you talking about that squeak that was going on earlier?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing it now.
I just heard it.
My tanks are really noisy right now because they need topped off, and so everything sounds like a waterfall in here. Christopher says Aquahuna has $15 shipping and a great refund policy.
Oh, wow.
The one that won't ship to anybody in Washington, that's Aquahuna. The Wet Spot ships overnight for $50. That's the problem. That's where they get me. Now, if I'm buying a ton of fish or something and I've got the money to just spend on fish, then I'm good with that. Because they keep them safer and everything, and they get to me faster. But
right. I need to join me some aquarium clubs and go to some swaps because I feel like that sounds like the best way to get your fish.
Yes, I told you about my fish, right? That I got from the aquarium club auction.
Maybe.
I got tawas, which are new rainbow fish. They've only been in the hobby since 2019, I believe, and they're pretty well sought after. We went and they're expensive. They were kind of out of my price range, like completely. And then I went to the auction and they were selling groups of 7 juveniles in batches, and I got mine for like either 27 or 32. I got 2 groups of fish. One was 27, one was 32, and I don't remember which was which. But still, I mean, fish for like $30 ish. That was amazing. And then I got the other ones I got were long fin green dragon plecos. It's supposed to be a pair, but I believe it's 2 females because I haven't seen any bristles yet. So
this is Chairman Mao.
Oh, how pretty.
I told Dan she might make an appearance. Chairman Mao. Chairman Mao. Meow. Chairman Mao.
Kitty cat.
We found her outside a gas station not too long ago.
Aw.
Chairman.
That's usually what I do is find animals just wandering around with no homes or whatever. And I'm like, you can come home with me.
That's how I got pretty much all my animals.
Ask Mom how many times she got aggravated at me for doing that. My mom
and
says,
here's the cat we found out in the woods.
Oh, wow. Yep. I hope he's enjoying it, Mom. Her husband is watching me on TV, on the big TV, and he had a stroke last year, over a year ago now, and so he's not mentally doing very well. So But he's watching me on the big TV. Apparently he likes it because he makes a fuss if he likes what's on there. Are they still going after that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that it holds up for a while. They're still kicking it around in here.
Dan says the other cat's got schmutz on his face.
Yeah, yep. She has a permanent like eye goo that just discharge or whatever. I took her to the vet and they said that it's some sort of condition that she's always gonna have.
Eye herpes.
Eye herpes, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it hasn't spread to the other cat though.
I'm
Yeah,
excited. Christopher tells me my volcanum killifish came in today.
Volcanum killifish. I'm trying to think of that. That's not the clown killie, is no.
No, it's I think I showed you guys the second live when I was showing you the killifish. We were talking about killifish. Oh, were you even? You weren't there, were you?
I was actually, but for parts of it.
Here, let me see. I'll find the picture. And
Yeah,
show
bring
it
up
to
a
you.
picture if we can.
I can't do it on the computer because I haven't figured out how, but I can show you on my phone.
That'll work.
Okay, let me see if I can find it. But they're not all exactly the same because they come from different locations, so they have different variations. But this is hold on, figure it out.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
They almost remind me of the Galaris a little bit.
Like the blue Galaris.
Yeah, a little bit.
That one. Do it the right way, Shirley.
Yeah, just the shape of the tail, I think it was.
Yeah, actually, those both were my on my wish list, and Christopher's helped me out with that. Oh,
Christopher's the best.
Picture, yes. Oh my goodness. And actually, Dan says he was talking about the cat's markings, not the.
Oh, well, she does have eye goop. Well, one of them does, but yeah. I guess I got a few animals with schmutzy faces over here.
Well, schmutz fits right in then. Oh, I'm so excited! I can't wait to get some of those eggs and stuff. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I haven't really like on purpose tried to do a whole lot of like I've stuck with the live bearers as far as actually trying to get babies out of them. But like I keep moving these floating plants out of this tank, and I'll put them. All I have to do is put them in another tank, and then all of a sudden, just fry appear, golden wonder fry, and I'm like, damn, like that's so much easier than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know what it is about these like egg scatters that kind of put me off. Like you think it's gonna be harder than it is.
Yeah, that's how my first garden rod killies, my first killies that I ever got, they were in a tank, and I moved them somewhere, I don't remember where, and we emptied the tank completely, emptied it, and then we filled it back up to get ready for another fish, I think, and we were getting it ready, and then a day or so later, I look in there, and there's a little freaking fish swimming around. I freaked out. I was like, what? Because there was no fish in there. And then I moved some plants from that same tank to Shadow's tank, the betta. And in like a couple of weeks after that, there was a freaking killifish fry in there, and she was hiding from him.
Yeah, I don't even have a heater in this tank down here. I'm just storing plants in it. And I swear to God, like these eggs are hatching in there and the fry just appear and they're fine. Like I don't even have a heater, filter, nothing. Nothing is except the light, just plants and a light.
Yep. Yeah, when you don't try, things just appear and happen. Everything's great. But you try to breed them and you got freaking 50% survival rate, and everybody's dying here and there. You don't know what you're doing.
It's almost like they know you're trying.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Cute little gold snail.
Richard said he knew I was going to flip out when as soon as I saw those. And he's got blue Galaris, Wari, and red dwarf. I guess that's the Galaris. Starting to get their trident tail. Oh my God, Gene said my name. No, he did not. Are you serious? Sorry, Gene, the only thing Gene says right now basically is what? And so if he says my name, that's kind of trippy. That's awesome. Hi, Gene. Anyway, sorry, I'm distracted.
No, that's good.
So, but anyway, so I'm so excited for these. I can't wait. Like I half want to be like, Christopher, just send me the fish. I'll get send you some eggs. Just send me the fish.
I love killies. I definitely love killies.
I had never even I'd seen them and kind of like in passing heard of them, but I never really knew what they were or anything about them until I went to the local fish store and I was like, listen, I want to try I want to do a breeding project besides my Corys and my plecos. And I was wondering what would be a good breeding project to start, something that would make me decent money and it wouldn't be too difficult. And the guy was like, let me show you something. I don't know if we have any of these. Oh, he's waving at me. I don't have, he said, I don't really know if we have any of these right now, but let me show you on the computer. And he went over, took me to the computer and he looked up the garden rye. And I was like, those are gorgeous. I said, yeah, when are you going to get those in? He's like, I don't know. Let me look. And so he looked in his thing. He was like, oh, we've got a pair right now. I was like, take me to that pair. And so ever since I brought them home, I fell in love with them. So I don't know. I want all the killies, all of them, and then we'll make room for other fish because
they should be more popular.
Say what?
They should be more popular and prevalent, I think, in the hobby.
They should. They're great and they're easy to keep. They're not, I mean, they're good. They're decent fish, at least the ones I've dealt with and stuff and read about. But I think it's a mix of either people don't know about them at all, really, like I didn't, or they have misconceptions like they all only live a year or 6 months, or, you know, that they're hard to keep, they die a lot. And, you know, sometimes they do, they jump out, can be a pain in the butt that way. But if you've got a lid that doesn't have holes in it, you're fine. And there's a lot of species that live 2, 3, 4 years. So, I mean, you can get a decent lifespan out of them. The non-annuals and the semi-annuals live pretty long. The only ones that live a year and under are the annuals. So, and I guess that's what a lot of people think of when they think of killies. So,
what, annuals?
Yeah, the annuals.
Yeah.
So, the low. Yes, Christopher, get me pictures of those babies. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I hope they start spawning right away. I want some eggs. I've been dying for them, and we're getting this rack. That's another thing. I don't know if I'll do a video. I figure I'll do a video, but I'm going to be building at some point soon, hopefully, a rack in my bedroom to put my smaller tanks on for breeding and stuff. So, hey, Gabriel, nice that you're still here. So that'll be a video that I do. It's a DIY video, but technically I'm not doing it myself. I'm going to have my friend Jason be the yourself in the do it yourself. But I'm not hiring a professional. I can't do it because my hands and all kinds of other issues. So he's going to be my do it yourselfer. He's going to show you guys how to do it. So, but anyway, my point being that when we get the rack up, I'll have room and I'll have places to put all these killies. So I'm like, give me the killies.
Yeah. You know, I'm pretty shocked that, I don't know, like there's not a lot of, I feel like, people keeping killifish in community settings. Like, so when I was trying to research what can I put with my Golden Wonder killies and, what's going to work in this tank, like, I was like, maybe like everything I put in here with them, I was like, not sure of, but so far so good.
Right. Well,
I just feel like most people keep killies by themselves, like species only. Tanks.
Yeah, I think that's another misconception that killies cannot be community fish. Because I've read now there are certain ones that do not do the best in killie tanks, and or do best in community tanks, and if you are wanting to breed them, it's best to keep them as species only. But like I've got a female killie that she got swim bladder issues. Something happened to her. I don't really know what, but I came up and she was swimming erratically. I was able to save her, but she swims like this now. Like she's always like this. So I had put her in with my Harlequins. I've got Harlequins, Horosis, Corys, Clown, plecos and an epistogramma in my 20 long over here, and she does well. I mean, she does just fine in there. There's no issues. Nobody messes with her. She doesn't mess with anybody else. Okay, I heard it that time.
The squeaking.
Yes, I don't know.
I don't know what that feedback is. I feel like pretty bad for everybody watching.
I know, but they said it wasn't too bad. So, I mean, hopefully,
Yeah.
I don't. But I need to figure that out so we don't do this again. It hasn't done that before, so I don't know what the deal is. But and I know it did that when I had my phone up.
Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Goodbye, lights.
But yeah, I don't know where it could be coming from because I don't even have my phone going with it. So Christopher says he was surprised when he found out the American Killifish Association signed 500 members. In his 20s, it was over 2,000.
Oh, it's been going down?
Yeah, it has.
No.
It's a problem.
That is a problem.
I really honestly think that there's not enough people out there that know about Killies, or else it would just be, I think they'd be, very popular type of fish.
You're lucky if you find any killifish at a pet store. And if you do, they're going to be Gardneri or they're going to be Wonders.
Right. That's generally what it is. I'm lucky because my local fish store, one of the guys that helps run it, he is a Killie fanatic. He's the one that showed me the Gardneri, and so when he sees a new species of Killie or something different or odd, he orders them and he gets them in. And then I'm the first person. He's like, Shirley, I got new Killies. I'm like, no, don't show me the Killies. I have no money. Please don't make me go in debt over Killifish. I'm already there. So, but yeah, so I'm lucky because they've always got some random, that's where I got my Nothobrachius rackabi pair. I got them from there. So, I mean, and they're the ones that bought my Gardneri juveniles. I sold them 8 of them, and they gave me a good price for them. So, but so yeah, the Gardneri. It seems like occasionally Australian, you can see those.
Right. I forgot about those. Yeah, those 3.
And clown killifish, I think, sometimes can be found pretty
I've
easy.
never seen one in a pet store, clown killie, at least not by me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I never noticed them before, but then when I started getting the Killies, I know my local fish store not only has a bunch of those different pairs of Killies. I think one time they had like 6 or 7 different types of Killies that some of them I had never even heard of. And well, obviously it's not like I'm an expert and been around for a while, and then they had clown killifish, they had golden wonders, and lamp eyes, Norman lamp, whatever that one is. Anyway,
you're saying it right. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
But
Norman's lamp eye, I think it is.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was going for. But yeah, they had those 3, which are generally considered to be, not schooling, but shoaling, I guess. And then they had the pairs, like 6 or 7 different pairs of different types of killifish. So I've gotten really lucky. So with my fish store. Now they're not perfect. Who is, right? But they're dependable. They're pretty dependable.
Yeah, I live by a lot of fish stores, actually. I live by a PetSmart and a Petco within 5 minutes. And then I have 4 mom and pop local fish stores as well within 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
2 of them are really nice. One of them has black tip reef sharks, but their stock, they have black tip reef sharks, which is cool. But I feel like the quality of their fish has gone way down, at least the ones that you can buy. But 2 of them I would say have really nice fish, and then at least 2 of the 4 also do quarantine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one that has the black tip reef sharks by me, it's called Aquatics and Exotic, and they even had a Goliath grouper in with the black tip reef sharks.
Oh wow!
Yeah, a huge Goliath grouper.
Yeah, I have PetSmart and Petco really close to me, but I try not to shop there, especially for fish and stuff if I don't have to, because too
Right.
many stories. And not only that, last time I went in there, I asked them if they had Corridor's habrosis, and they were like, "What's up?" I was like, "Okay, apparently you don't have them." We started
Right.
looking him up, and he kept asking me. He asked me if an albino was a habrosis. I was like, "That's an albino." And
Yeah,
then,
I feel like you can't expect anyone at PetSmart or Petco to really know what they're talking about. But you
exactly.
know, when they have that much money, these big box stores, you'd think that it would be common sense for them to find somebody, like to make it a point to find somebody to run their fish that has
Right.
knowledge.
Right, or at least give them some sort of basic training, like on
Right.
the cycle and all that
I-
other stuff that they're telling people.
Yeah, I feel like they don't really have a lot of excuse. I mean, other than that they need bodies, you know,
Right.
because they're so
Yeah.
big. But I feel like they have the money to put more effort into making sure that, you know, informed people are running their fish. And I feel like if they did that, they would have better quality fish.
Yes, they would. They'd have a lot more business too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people like us would be there like every day because I mean they do have really cheap prices.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
like, that's the thing is most people wouldn't care to pay a little bit more if that meant the person they were talking to knew what the hell they were saying.
Right.
You know?
I mean, I guess the initial price of the fish at PetSmart is cheaper, but then you got to think, how much money do I have to spend treating it? Is it
Right.
gonna, you know, I have to quarantine it for God knows how long.
And then the cost adds up to more than what you would pay at, you know, your local fish store, which is
Right.
why I spend my money there, you know, because I have looked up at Petco and PetSmart, not PetSmart. I won't shop at PetSmart unless it's a life or death situation because that's a totally non-fish related reason though. They have banned bully breeds from their classes and
Yeah.
stuff. So, yeah, I'm not going to shop somewhere that won't even let my dog, you know what I mean? So, but the Petco up here is nice and clean and stuff, but the people don't really know what they're doing up there at all. So I
think it's just they need bodies thing more than anything, and you know they're just so big that the quality isn't there.
Right. And like you said, they have the funds and finances to do that. It's not like they're hurting. You know, if
Yeah,
they were, they wouldn't be, you know. And
yeah, but they're trying to be as profitable as possible.
right. Keep those prices low so people will go buy their fish, which I can understand, but I can't understand. I mean, they're living animals. I mean, it's really a lack of empathy.
Right, but they make more money if all your fish die and you go back and buy more.
Exactly, which is why I said it's a lack of empathy. So,
Yeah.
you know, they don't. I've heard so many people tell me, "Oh, really? It's just a fish," and I'm like,
Yeah.
I told somebody that I had a fish that died. That one of my garden eyes, matter of fact, my male, I think it was, had jumped out of the. No, it was my first Australian male had jumped out of the tank, and I tried to save him, and I, you know, watched him die, and it was horrible. And I had told somebody that she was talking about how she had a bad day or whatever. I said, yeah, me too. I said, I had a special fish die to me. She literally busted out laughing. A fish. I was like, yeah, I said a fish. I was like, thank you for letting me know how you are. And I walked away. I was like, no, I'm not, you know, you don't, first of all, even if you think that it's just a fish, even if you think that way, you don't ridicule somebody else for not thinking that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
If something died, give them a little sympathy. I mean, at the very least, don't give them ridicule.
Right.
And so I was like, that was super disrespectful. And so I've had so many reactions like that about my fish. I mean, people just look at them as ornaments, pretty things to look at, but they're living creatures. So,
Mm-hmm. You know, if Christopher is still here, I wonder if I'm thinking about the same person, but I feel like Christopher was the one that said that he thought that Schmutz was male, maybe. I don't know if I'm thinking of somebody else or if that was him. I don't know. And I'm wondering if now that he sees him on camera, he still thinks so. And I know he's still really young.
yeah.
And
Are they hard to sex when they're young?
they're hard to sex in general unless you're seeing one lay the eggs, is what I gather from all my research on
That
them.
was him.
I did just see. Oh, there's a couple of swordtail fry in here. I just see now. Let's see if you guys can see them. Little tiny babies that are smaller than the.
I see them.
You see them?
Yeah, down there on the. Well, there was one. Where'd it go?
Yeah, they're really tiny. They're right over the leaf.
Yeah, right there. I see it in the middle of those two leaves on the top.
Yeah, I don't know how they're still alive in there because usually fry don't make this tank because of the golden wonder killies.
Yeah, yeah, they're insatiable, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Christopher said that was indeed him.
Okay. So, do you still think that, Christopher? Maybe, or I don't know, because I was trying to look. Because you said that you thought that he might have a small nuchal hump, but he's still very young, so I don't know.
He said, I just think he has a little nuchal hump already. I could totally be wrong. Angelfish surprise me all the time.
Well, we're gonna call him P anyway.
Yes. And
Oh my goodness, I'm just so shocked. I'm seeing 2 fry. I thought I saw one earlier and was like, it's a one-off. They haven't eaten it yet, but I'm seeing 2 now.
I can see them both. I see them both side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yep.
I wish I could show you my garden.
These swordtails, these bigger ones, these I actually grew out in another tank away from the golden wonder killies.
Yeah. It's kind of almost necessary.
I guess, but maybe, maybe it's like my cories. Like I've had 2 cories grow out in here, but the rest of the eggs get eaten. But, and that's out of hundreds of eggs. Maybe only 2 grew up.
Dream says Schmitz identifies as male. Well, at least to us he does.
He identifies as a paper bag. He's whatever you want him to be.
Right. He's fluid.
He does. I do see what Christopher's talking about. He does kind of have a slight little hump on top of the head.
Can you zoom in? I want to see. No, never mind.
He's up in the plants, but when he comes out. That's really exciting though, seeing those little fry make it.
That is so cool. I love it. I love babies. I really do.
I feel like your tanks will give you happy surprises all the time.
Yeah, whenever the curse tank was at its peak, when it was doing so great, I had 2 Colombian tetra babies, 2 black skirt babies, 5 juvenile corridoras. What else did I have? I think that was it. But we had 2 tetra babies and 2 Colombians and 2 skirt tetra babies that just showed up out of nowhere.
Oh,
that was pretty cool.
Here's a close up of him. He kind of does have a little bit of a hump.
Yeah, it looks like it's starting there.
Yeah, from his nose to his dorsal.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yep. Him's a boy. Him's a pretty boy, whatever he is.
He's a pretty paper bag. That's what Kyle always used to say. He'd be like, I identify as a paper bag.
That's funny.
Since I feel like you can, I don't know, people just get so sensitive over these things, but I feel like if you don't tell me what you prefer, like you can't fault me for assuming something. I try not to assume genders, but when it's a fish, I'm sure he doesn't mind.
No, he doesn't mind. I don't think he cares. I always ask what their pronouns are, and I know that people are like, well, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, well, it's just a matter of,
politeness.
They'll tell you if you ask them,
Yeah.
Like my daughter, she's trans, and people will call her boy all the time. She doesn't care. I mean, it doesn't matter to her.
Oh, I've been called sir. And I'm just like, like, what do you want? It doesn't bother me at all. Like, they'll be like, thanks, sir. And I'll be like, have a good day.
Peace out.
Yeah. Don't bother me.
Especially on the phone. Like, I was like, and it used to hurt my feelings because, like, I grew up being told I had man hands or man this or man that. So it's kind of reinforcing that whole put down, that whole thing. So it was hard at first, but now I'm just like, whatever, dude. What's the matter?
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta brush that shit off, or you gotta dish it back.
Right. I have a tendency to call everybody dude. So
Right. I feel like dude is pretty what is the word I'm looking for? Pretty both genders.
yeah, I'm trying to think what it's called.
Besides gender fluid. I don't know.
Right.
I'm having trouble with English right now.
We're a pair, are we?
Mhm.
I didn't know they left. Well, I knew they weren't talking, but I didn't know they left.
Who?
Eyeball pirate. Whoa, dude. Unisex. That's what Dan says. Unisex.
Yes, that is the word. Thanks, man.
He uses dude for everyone. I do too. That was my point. I use dude for everyone too. But anyway, I can't believe it's already almost been 2 hours.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
I know,
Or
right?
looking at fish. For sure.
He's pretty. So yeah, maybe next time if I can get my shit together, we can redo the Curse Tank 55 and maybe get it on the upswing.
That sounds like a really fun plan.
Yeah. So I'll get everything together and see if we can do it. So
And we can be like, hey, Shirley, a little bit to the left.
the one, oh, maybe not. Well, I don't know. We had a bad luck with the 125. Maybe the Curse Tank's already got enough bad luck and it'll turn it around.
I still need to watch that.
Yes, you do. Go watch it because it is.
I will. I will watch that tonight.
It was so great. It went so well. It was doing awesome. And then I was like, settle down. Everybody's good now. We're happy. It's been 3 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever it was. And then
explode.
Well, I see that's the thing. It didn't at first. It just started dripping a little bit. And then he's like, oh, Mom, it's dripping. I was like, oh, okay. Take it, drain it. We'll reseal it again and da-da-da-da. Before she even got it started, like, really draining, it started coming out faster. And the next thing you know, it was just pouring out. It was just, we had buckets underneath it that we were bailing water with, and it still went all over the floor. It covered half my living room. So that was fun. But yeah, definitely check it out. Even if you have to fast forward to the end. But it was a lot. We had everybody pick out where they wanted things and which ones they wanted to put where, and everybody was like really into it. So that would
we should do it.
I almost had my mom convinced to do that when to be a guest and do her 75 that way, but she's like, nah, I don't know if I want to be on camera and stuff. So, and she'd probably get people would probably give her a lot of crap because she has fake plants and fake decor, and it's not all supernatural like everybody likes and everything, but works for her. So,
hey, whatever floats your boat. It's her tank. It's right. Your tank. I feel like you shouldn't. It's like anything else. You don't have to make everybody else happy with your tank.
No, it's your tank. It's your tank.
Right.
Whatever makes you happy. And while I encourage live plants and stuff, my mom, like I said, she's not really ready for that right now, and she's got too much going on. Live plants.
Live plants have a lot of benefits, but they do come with an added headache. Yeah, I guess if you want to look at like the downside, because plastic plants aren't going to die on you, whereas plants might. Right.
And you don't have to worry about fertilizer and all that other junk.
Right. So, definite pros and cons.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, so I definitely encourage the live plants thing. But if I was there with her and I could help her take care of them all the time, then yeah, I'd be all over her about getting live plants. But yeah, she doesn't have anybody to help her with that stuff. So,
right.
Just gotta let her be, let her do her thing. So at some point when she gets the hang of this, I'm sure she'll want to explore further. So, she said she'd take the mess because she has no problem giving it right back to him. Dan says plastic plants don't grow free, new plants for you.
That's true. See,
true.
There's a lot of pros and cons, but I feel like the pros with plants or live plants definitely outweigh the cons.
very much.
Like, but there's definite, it makes sense, a lot of sense why somebody wouldn't want live plants too at the same time.
Right. When they got what's
Just
going on.
practicality wise.
What? Oh, he knows it's time to be fed. Anita, your dog is bugging the crap out of me right now. No, go get down. Here, this is my Django. Are you gonna get in the picture now? Get over here. Come here. This is my Django. Django. He's not doing it. Okay, look. No, he needs fed.
So that's news.
And then he needs out. What's news? Oh.
My boyfriend just informed me that somebody in Thailand, so these pandagas that we have, right? They are related to the doctor fish, the Gara rufa. These are Gara flavatra. So Gara rufa are the ones that they use in spas for exfoliating your skin. So apparently, I was just informed that somebody in Thailand had some doctor fish grazing on their feet, and they got an infection and lost all 5 toes.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, well, that's a first. I've heard of that. And apparently, I guess that's why you're not supposed to do it with an open wound, which makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, fish mouths can't be that clean, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, I've just never heard of that before. That was interesting.
Yeah, I never heard of anything like that before either, but
I've seen somebody dunk their whole head into a tank full of garas, and the panda garas just swarmed their face like they had a mask of panda garas.
oh wow. Laura says she's here. Hello, Laura.
Laura.
And my mom says she wants live plants, but just doesn't have the time to mess with it right now. I'll definitely put some in once I get the hang of things. That's what that's what we had talked about before, that she love it. She loves the look and everything, but she doesn't have time for it right now. She's got so much other stuff going on. So
right. I see something needs removing.
Huh? Oh no! Don't zip tie me. Oh my! Gonna punch you! Stop! You're a pain in my ass.
No.
I threw it over. It went over by the tank somewhere. I don't know why I'm telling you where it went. Leave me alone. Dan says he thought it was illegal to use those fish in the U.S. I think it is, isn't it?
I've never seen a place using them for business around here. For sure, I've never seen it, but I know they do in a lot of other countries.
I know some spas here had done it for a while, but I'm pretty sure, like Dan said, that it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's not, because Christopher says there are tons of fish spas in the U.S. Here, hold on. Let me look. Okay.
I was going to say, I wonder why it wouldn't be illegal.
I think it had something to do with conservation or something. I don't know. Legal to what Gara? I can't remember.
It's Gara rufa, RUFFA, or the doctor fish.
Yeah. Due to health and ethical concerns, they are illegal in parts of the United States, Canada, and Europe. Some people import these fish to offer the treatment in beauty clinics.
Okay, so ethical reasons. It's cited.
Ethical. Let's see. Health and ethical concerns.
Right, like that story I just told you about the guy getting all 5 toes amputated.
Yeah, it says that as a result of these says if you get unlucky and the fish in your bowl that doing the pedicure carries dangerous bacteria, can leave you with a life-threatening infection. As a result, fish pedicures are banned in many states across the country, including California and Maine. So
yeah, I didn't know. I never really looked into it though, but I didn't even know we had them in the US.
Yeah, I really didn't either. I never really paid much attention. This says they've been found to carry strains of several infection-causing bacteria, including Streptococcus something or other, which can also cause pneumonia, and others that are resistant to antibiotics. That's why it's a danger, because the bacteria are resistant to antibiotics. So that would
I got my own fish spa at home.
yeah, right. Your Panagaras.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which I haven't like. I think as long as I think it's just general best practice not to put any open wound in your tank.
yeah,
But other than that, I'm not really worried about catching anything from them.
no, generally, I mean, I would think unless you've got a really messed up tank that you're pretty safe, unless, like you said, you had an open wound or something.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, which means when I have my surgery, I'm gonna have to watch and put my hands in the tank.
What are you having surgery on?
I have carpal tunnel and pinched ulnar nerves in both my hands and arms, and they're doing the left one on the 9th of September. So, yeah, I might have to skip a live or two then, because I don't know if I'll be able to type.
Well, you're already forgiven, I'm sure.
Yeah, I posted that our live was gonna be a little late today. Really, go tell her you want to go outside. Don't you lick me in the face. Go tell her. She's the one who takes you outside. I don't even like you. Go away. No, okay. Anita, your dog is not done. He needs to go outside. I don't even know why she leaves the room. She knows she's got to take him out as soon as he goes eats his food. And the funny thing is, he doesn't. She's the one that takes him out. She's the one that feeds him. She's the one that does all that. Yet it's me he comes to when he wants something. It's always me. It's like he's saying, I know you're the mom, so he's not going to listen to me, you know? But yeah, so, oh goodness, it is 4 minutes till 2 hours.
Yep, we've been going a little bit.
Yeah, so do we have anything else we want to throw out there with topics? Or Dan says, how do I not like him? I love him, but I don't want him to know that. He's already a rat.
Nobody tell him.
Yeah, don't tell him, because dude, dude, see, I told you. I can let him up on the couch, and when it's time to get down, he goes dead weight. Like he's like, nah, I'm up here and you are not getting rid of me. And then when I finally do get him down, he turns around and tries, like he will continuously try to climb back on the couch or my bed or wherever I've let him up at over and over, and will not leave me alone. He'll do it for hours. He will. I'm not kidding. And he'll pace the couch or the bed, whatever it is, and looking for a place he can get up without me getting in his way and stopping him. So he's pushy. He really is. And he wouldn't be so bad if he was a little dog and I could just football punt him off the couch or something, but it's freaking 7 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else to add, guys? Anybody? You too, Mel. Anything else?
I've been seeing a lot of posts recently about people freaking out about snails in their tank. And I even when I first started, like I got a bunch of free ram's horn snails on, random plants that I ordered, and I was just like, ooh, free helpers. I wasn't like, oh, I have to kill it with fire. Oh my God, they're taking over my tank, and then I saw somebody say, oh, well, you can always get assassin snails. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, what's the difference? Like you're trading one snail for another.
Yeah.
And plenty. And then the lady replied back to me when I said, you're trading one snail for another. They said, well, at least you can get some money for the assassin snails. And I was like, people sell and breed ram's horn snails all the time. Like,
I like my ram's horn. But now I will tell you, I'm one of those people that's freaked out about it. But I will also say, that mine did not come from overfeeding or whatever. It was the rain of death. Okay, I'm serious. I had like, I think 5 tanks up at the time, and somebody had, Django, really? I'm busy.
Oh, the puppy eyes.
I know. He's giving, do this, Snoopy. Do this, Snoopy. Do it. No, come over here. Come over here and show everybody. No, you're not getting, no, don't get up on this couch. Never mind. Go away. Anyway, we had put I had said I didn't want any snails. I want some snails, but not like I didn't want them to take over or whatever. Well, somebody had on Facebook had given me like huge Ziploc bag full of floaters, maybe two, I don't remember, but it was enough that I put them in all 5 of my tanks, and it literally I had enough to cover almost the entire surface of all my tanks, all 5, including my 55-gallon at the time. Well, we had just got done putting them all through there, and I was standing back looking all satisfied because I had these pretty floating plants. And then as I watch, I shit you not, just hordes of snails just kept come pouring down out of those plants, just pouring.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God. And since then, I have not been able to, until recently, I have not been able to get rid of them. I've not been able to cut them back or nothing.
No matter how little you feed?
No, matter of fact, they got into one of my 5 little 4-gallon that I put up for shrimp. Didn't feed it for 3 months because I didn't have anything in it, and they almost took over that tank. I don't know. I just kept pulling them out. The only reason they didn't take over is because I just kept pulling them out, and I didn't feed that tank for 3 months. There was nothing in it. I didn't even put an algae wafer in it. Nothing.
You see, it's like I told you when we were talking about this mistake, the mistake topic. Like, I guess I just haven't had a lot of oh shit experiences. Like when I got snails, I was like, oh look, they're cute. There's a couple, and then I overfed the tank, and it was like everybody said, they multiplied to the amount of food that I gave. So like, I never had like a complete takeover, and if I had a bunch, it was because I fed too much, so I cut back the food, and then the snails died off. And I was like, oh, well, that's easy, and they're a perfect little gauge to tell me if I'm feeding too much. And they do work around the tank, but that's crazy.
Yeah,
like you're talking about.
I have a few tanks that are like that. As long as I don't feed too much, they don't get too bad. But like my curse tank and my 20 long that I was telling you about, they're full of them. My curse tank, not so much now that I've got the loaches and the cories in there, but my 20 long, if you were to see it right now, it's literally the glass is just covered in snails. It's just, they're everywhere, big piles of them and scattered all over, and they're all over my substrate. And that's why my substrate and my 50, I get the point, Jangle. Yes, Snoopy.
You just see his nose and some puppy eyes.
Hey, Jesse. Didn't see you there. But yeah, they like completely overrun. And now, granted, it may have been because I was overrun in the first place. By the sheer number of those snails dropped out of there, it was frightening. Like, it was the apocalypse raining fire. It was just everywhere. And, if it had been a few here and there that I found, I would have been like, hey, that's cool, because I like snails. I think they're cool. But like, oh my God, they started so hugely, and then they just grew and grew. And like I said, the only reason why I got a handle on them in my curse tank is because I'm medicated with a copper treatment with cupramine, left in there max dose for 2 weeks. It killed maybe a quarter of the snails in there, maybe.
Are they ram's horn snails?
Some of them are bladder and pond snails.
Okay.
And that's another reason that my plants were so, did so badly, is because of either bladder or pond snails, one or the other will eat your plants. I don't remember, but I've got all 3, bladder, pond, and ram's horn snails in my tank. So
I haven't had any I've got a few bladder snails here and there. I mostly have ram's horn snails, but whenever I had bladder snails, they didn't really do any real damage. But like I said, I didn't have like hundreds of them.
Right. No, my plants that are in there, my Amazon swords. Yes, Django, I get it. Anyway, I would find piles of them on leaves and just brush them off, and there'd be holes all in it. And that leaf 5 minutes ago, before they got on it, was perfectly green and healthy, nothing going on. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I think like I said, it was because it started so badly. It started off with so many. It was just like, couldn't get a handle on them. So,
right.
That was probably my problem. So, but I also tell people too, snails are opportunistic feeders. You can just not feed, but if there's biofilm, microorganisms, algae in your tank,
They're gonna find something.
Yeah, dead or dying fish or shrimp or whatever. They will eat whatever they can get their hands on or mouths on.
Yeah.
But I mean, and yeah, they're only going to grow to the amount of food they have. But
Right.
a lot of microfilm, a lot of algae, a lot of that they're going to populate. So,
Right.
So I only say this so that way people who get them and can get rid of them don't feel like they're shitty owners or shitty tank fish keepers because
Right.
you know what I mean? Because I did for a long time. I mean, for a while after I got them, I felt really crappy. I felt like I was doing something wrong because I was supposedly overfeeding. I was doing something wrong that they were multiplying like that. And then, I had the tank, the 4-gallon tank, and I got snails in there because I put plants from a snail infested tank in there, obviously. And next thing I know, I'm just seeing hordes of little baby snails, which not a big deal. Just pull them out and did it. But they kept coming. And like I said, I didn't feed that tank for 3 months. There was no food in it. And they just kept coming and kept coming. And I gave up on that tank after all my shrimp died. So, but yeah, Dan says Dan says he thinks of snails as a part of the cleanup crew. And yeah, good point. They are. Like I said, I think I just got blown up with an atomic bomb in the first place and just couldn't recover.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Because like I said, I never had that experience with them.
Yeah, and I was resigned once I found out the snails could come in on plants. I was totally resigned to the idea that I might get some snails.
Mm-hmm.
I had knee rights. I love snails. They're cool. But then when I got them and they just poured out like that, I was horrified. I was like, what do I do? Like there was just really nothing I could do about it. And Anita's running around trying to pull all the floating plants out. I'm like, it's too late. It's too late. We are gone. We are dead. She was like, it's okay, Mom, we'll get it. I was like, no, we'll never get it taken care of. Yeah. So
I guess because I haven't had that kind of experience, like I welcome any hitchhikers so far, but like I said, I haven't had any bad experiences with them.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, if it hadn't been for just the copious amounts that I got originally, I don't think I would have had that much of a problem either. Honestly, I
gotta wonder where those came from for you to get that much all at once.
I mean, I'm assuming it came from a snail-infested tank from this woman on Facebook.
But like, not just infested, but like infested with a capital I, maybe.
Yes. Overfeeding.
Something crazy.
Hey, they're allowed to walk on the sidewalk. And he's not going to stop. But anyway, but are you going to stop now? Thank you. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, I don't think I have no idea. The woman, I don't know if she collected them over or had multiple tanks or what, but it never even crossed my mind that was possible, let alone that it would happen to me. That many snails, like it literally looked like it was raining snails in my tank. It was a lot.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, like if you had seen, nobody I think believed how bad it was because they didn't see it. But if they saw it, they would be like either horrified or impressed. I don't know. Should go one way or the other. So, but anyway, yeah. Oh my goodness, we're past 2 hours now. I love that everybody's hanging out. We got 15 people in here. Woo! Can I hold like Dan Hold Squeaker? Oh, okay, sure. Okay, come here, Django. Come here. Get him next to me. Come here, buddy. Where'd you go? Come here, dum-dum. Get up here. This is my jangling. My jangle.
So cute.
My dum-dum. Mama's dum-dum. He wanted on the couch. That's what he wanted. He wouldn't leave me alone, so I let him on the couch.
I love the eye patch.
Yeah, I keep getting he looks like Petey from.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Petey was Petey was a American Bulldog, I think.
No,
Yeah.
he was a pit bull.
No, he wasn't.
Are
I
you
dare you. Look it up.
I'm looking because if I'm wrong, I need to stop telling people that. Petey.
He's an American Bulldog. I'm 99.99% sure. But pit bulls are definitely a favorite of mine for sure.
No, my hands are not working. Petey on Little Rascal. Okay. American Pit Bull Terrier. What I
Really?
say? Yes. You can't see it, so anyway.
I can't
Yes.
see it, but I stand corrected.
Yes.
I
Yes.
still don't believe you.
Look it up, Pepper. But yeah, he was an American Pit Bull Terrier, which is what he is. He's an American Pit Bull Terrier.
They do look very similar.
Yep. And I was like, Petey's eye patch was drawn on. His is natural.
What year? That is an old movie.
It is really old.
That was in the 90s, wasn't it?
You would.
I feel like it was the 90s. I don't want to make you look it up again, but it had to have been the 90s.
Little Rascals. Let's see. Dogs.
Maybe before that.
Let's see. Oh, that's about the dog. Little Rascals, not dog. Little Rascals movie. Okay, this one was in 1994, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was a black and white one before that. Original Little Rascals movie was in 1994. It says, I could have swore there was another one that was older. What is the older?
I was only 3 years old.
It's called Our Gang, and it was in 1939.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And they remade it into the Little Rascals. So, yeah, that's interesting. But yes, he was an American Pit Bull Terrier.
I stand corrected.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what all the comments say. Laura says she loves all the bullies. I do too, Laura. That's why I won't shop at PetSmart, because I think they're racist against pit bulls.
They have all kinds of horrible rules there, and it's really just like to cover their ass, you know.
Yeah.
It's I can't even really fault them for it, because at a certain point you get so big, you're hiring God knows who, you know, like you can't. I almost like, I understand why. Like I don't condone them doing that, but I understand why.
Right. It's a coward's move, honestly.
Yep. But I mean, take the coward's way out or get sued for millions of dollars.
Yeah, well, there's a middle ground. You can put safety precautions.
I mean,
in place,
and I totally agree. It's not just pit bulls you're worried about. More people get bit by golden retrievers statistically.
And
yeah, but it's just them. I feel like just trying to cover their ass, and they just have a lot of really, and in their grooming salons, like I groom dogs for a living, and they have a ton of rules for their grooming salon that just make absolutely no sense to me, other than I think they're just trying to just make all these rules because, who knows what idiots they're hiring. So,
right. And people are idiots when they handle their dogs too. They don't they don't teach them. It's just like having a kid that's a brat. The only difference is kids have teeth and they'll use them. Well, I mean, I guess some human kids do too.
Yep.
And that's the thing. It's like at one point they were vilifying German Shepherds, and then it was Rottweilers, and then I don't know. It's like they cycle through these dogs, and then the dogs be not the jerks, and it's the people, and they're like, oh, okay, what can we get pissed off about next? It's stupid. I mean, I've had more problems. I've only been bitten once by a dog, and it was a terrier. It was a small terrier.
Yeah.
And granted, it was my fault even then, because it was scared, it was terrified, and I continued to approach it when it was showing me it was scared, and I was a kid. I didn't know better. And it bit me. And of course, I was at a rescue when it happened, so it was apparently his third strike, and he got put down.
Wow.
And that made me feel horrible because it was completely my fault. You know, I knew better, and I just got eager to get done. I was working at the shelter, and I got eager to get done, and so I went to put the leash on him. Didn't pay attention to which dog I was trying to exercise, and he bit my hand. And I totally deserved it, but I wasn't even going to report it, but they saw it. It was on my hand. My hand was bleeding. So yeah, that made me feel so horrible. But that was the only time.
The nickname for pit bulls, nanny dogs.
Yeah,
we used to call them nanny dogs because they're so good with children.
In the 50s, people would literally leave their TV on and their dogs in the living room with the kids and go to work. You know, the dogs, they were bred to be nanny dogs for the long time, like in the 50s, early 50s, I think it was. So,
and all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's a pit bull. It must be vicious and wants to murder everything.
Well, people were fighting them, and it just got more prevalent and everywhere you look.
Yeah, but pit bulls aren't the only fighting dog. Pit bull, there's Shar-Peis, there's all kinds of like Dogo Argentino. There's all kinds of dogs but you never hear about them.
Right. Well, the Dogo Argentino is also considered a bully breed. So, but they were breeding them, and they were just antagonizing them to the point where they would become vicious. And that's another thing. They say, well, once a dog starts to become a dog fighter, you can't rehab them. That is so not true. That is not true at all. But I mean,
dogs live in the moment.
They do. And they're taught to do something, so they continue to do something, do a certain behavior. But if you teach them that whole old dogs can't learn new tricks, that's bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and you teach them to do other things, you know, teach them a better way, then they will learn. You know, you just got to give them a chance and give them all the reasons to. Because dogs that are bought, you know, they're not treated well. So,
right.
Yeah, Steve, my mom said the same thing. What about those little ankle biters? Chihuahuas bite people all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, he was just scared. Oh, no, he's a spoiled ass brat and he bit somebody.
9 times out of 10, you're getting bit by a dog, it's going to be a little dog.
Yeah.
In my experience. And I work with dogs all day long, every day. And I've never been bit by a big dog. I've only been like broke skin with the little ones. They always get you. It's the little ones.
Yeah. And mom's got 2 Chihuahuas, and she's also got, one of them is the dog that I gave her. My dog that I had adopted from somebody else. I didn't know she was pregnant when I got her, and she had babies. And I gave one of them to mom. His name's Max, and he is an a-hole above all a-holes. Like, you don't even have to be doing anything. If you move or twitch the wrong way, he'll be fine. Just sitting there minding his own damn business, not doing anything. You can sneeze, and he's jumping at you. Now, there's some people that he will bite the minute they walk in the door, and there's some people that he's never tried to bite. Like, he's never tried to bite me. Don't know why. I've probably antagonized him plenty, but he just never has. But you can be one of those people that you think he's not going to bite you, and then he'll go after you. So, oh, hey, Kendra, glad you made it. And Laura says, need them to understand children and big dogs understand. Exactly. You have to teach your children how to be around dogs and around animals, and you have to teach your dogs and animals how to be around people. I mean, it's just, they don't know until you teach them, you know, how to act, really. So, but anyway.
Yeah, my Chihuahua though, she's like a unicorn, I swear. She's 18 though, but I've had her since she was 7, and you cannot make her bite you. Like, I've tried. I've tried to piss her off to the point where she would bite me, and she just won't. She's the sweetest thing ever.
Bite my mommy.
Yeah, she's definitely a unicorn Chihuahua.
I figure Chihuahuas, they either biting people or they're shaking.
Like she doesn't shake either. She doesn't do the little Chihuahua shake either. She doesn't do any of that.
Yeah. That always drives me crazy. It's like, what? I can understand you being scared of everything, but are you that damn cold? You know? It's 85, 90 degrees outside. What the hell? But yeah, so Christopher said where'd it go? His son was grabbed by a big mastiff when he was 9. His butt looked like a hamburger. It turns out the mastiff had a neurological issue and was in massive pain. The mastiff had to be put down, but not because he bit somebody. Well, it's good that that's not why he got put down, but yeah, that's a lot of times the biggest problem is the dog's in pain or he's scared or, whatever the case may be. Just like us, we're in pain and we're scared, we lash out. The only difference is we have words. Dogs don't have that. So,
they do try. I feel like dogs do try to communicate with us first before they bite 9 times out of 10, but it's body language and we miss it. We don't.
Not 9 times out of 10, every time they will tell you. If you know what you're looking for, a dog will tell you every time before he starts to bite.
But we don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to speak their language, and they lash out because they have no other choice at that point because you're not listening.
Exactly. So, it's just people don't, and that's the thing. It's just like with fish. People grab puppies and they don't, or other animals, and they don't do any research. They don't see what it goes into them. They grab these big old dogs that that need that. If you took the time and learned what the ears back doesn't mean they're happy. It means they're upset. Their tail down. You see these signs, and you can tell if a dog is barking at you because he's vicious, or if he's barking at you because he thinks he's vicious, and he's going to do something, but he's not going to.
Mm-hmm.
So look at them. But
he's the best.
And like him, he scares the living daylights out of people. He acts like he's going to kill them. If you put your hand under his nose to sniff, like a lot of people do, like he'll sniff, gives you a dirty look, and he'll jump and bark like he's going to tear you apart. He does, like he can literally get close enough to eat your face, and he just like sits back down, like, "Oh, you called my bluff," but because he acts like he's vicious. But if you look, his tail's wagging, his ears are up forward. He doesn't have anything about him that looks aggressive. But him barking and freaking out, you're not. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to notice that.
It sounds like he's more excited than anything else.
Yeah, and like he's like, I didn't think he gets pissed that they're putting their hand in his face. He's like, I can smell you from across the room.
Right.
Hand in my face for,
Right.
So, because that's the only time he freaks out. Like, now he'll jump and bark and act like he's, going to tear somebody's face off anyway. But he comes, like, you come in here and sit down on my couch, he'll be in your lap. He will bark at you standing at the door. He will freak out, act like he's going to kill you. But you walk past him, come sit on my couch, he'll climb in your lap.
Yeah.
You don't talk. But,
Yeah, a lot of times the animals suffer because we don't understand and don't take the time to try.
Right. Mom, Django misses you too. He misses you a lot. So let's see. And then Cecil says, I still believe most of it is the way you raise your dogs. My dogs have never been bit nobody. They're all small dogs. Yeah, it is really. Yeah. It is, but there are dogs that are like people think it's okay to use their hands and teeth to solve problems. There are those dogs that first thing that they think, just like people, is somebody did or said something I don't like, so I'm going to do something about it. And they bite, or in case of humans, they throw fists or whatever the case may be. So, it's just, but yeah, it is how you raise them a lot of times. Most of the time. But that's like Max. He wasn't, he's a brat. His biggest problem is he's spoiled. And he thinks everything is his. And like I said, he thinks his first recourse is to bite instead of, whatever else he may be doing. But Christopher says he had a rescue Jack Russell that absolutely hated one of my friends for no reason. I think he reminded him of someone from his past. That's very possible because, dogs live in the moment, but they also remember. So, yeah. And Annie says, Mel, how many mystery snails do you have?
Oh, I got 2 right now. The big one, this big blue, and then this one that's much younger, the yellow one you saw. He's kind of cruising back there. And then I got 1 Nerite snail in here somewhere, but the mysteries are much easier to spot.
Kendra said she's just seeing the professional poor person. That's what I've got on my tag.
Oh, I'm just seeing that now too. That's great.
So, yeah, last time
I approve.
F up. So when we were talking about mistakes and stuff, my tag was professional fuck up. F up. Anyway, professional F up. So
I missed that.
Yeah,
but I missed a lot of things.
I think it's pretty typical of most people. You have to socialize your puppies when they are really young. Very true. Very true.
Yeah, I always tell people when they get a puppy, you need to take that everywhere with you in the car, go to the store,
Oh,
encourage people to come up to them.
yes, strangers, everybody. Just let
Yeah.
everybody, yes, because that's the only way they're not going to be freaked out by new stuff. Because dogs, like
Mhm.
people, don't like new stuff any more than we do. So, I
Yeah.
mean, Christopher says he's getting ready to order some blueberry snails.
Oh, sweet.
Those are cool.
I want one so bad.
I don't know a lot about them, but I think they're really pretty.
They are live bearing snails, so they're kind of like the rabbit snails. So
Yeah.
like they'll give birth to like one at a time, I believe it is, but I know they're live bearing snails. I don't know if it's one or two. I believe it's one at a time.
Right.
But they're really cool. I'm excited about those.
Ow. Sorry, I hurt myself. Oh, Arc Knight's in here. Hey, Arc, I didn't see you.
Arc Knight.
The only way to know if there are really blueberries to taste them.
I love blueberries.
Christopher says, yeah, Christopher says one at a time. So apparently that's
Yeah,
right.
I thought so.
All right. So, okay. So what else are we going to talk about? We've already talked about dogs, which is not even on the topic, and every other.
I know. Hey, tangent.
Yeah. It's almost as bad as last Saturday when I couldn't stay off my soapbox. But, well, we've been going freaking 2.5 hours already.
Yeah,
You don't know how. Kendra
and
says
my
she doesn't-
phone's still live.
Oh, good. You charged it.
Did you notice?
Yeah. Yeah. It's still on. Okay. Kendra doesn't know. Okay. Hold on.
Do what?
Kendra was saying she didn't know how I use the big vapes.
Oh,
Because she never gets enough of that throw hit to get her off cigarettes. And
yeah. I couldn't. I tried switching. It wasn't for me. I really want to go have a cigarette right now.
I actually, well, go have a cigarette. You've got your phone on you.
Yeah, I'm going. Don't judge me.
No judgment. I'm the one that told you to go do it. I'm the instigator. I'm like, do it, do it, do
Yeah,
it. Bad for
it's
me.
your fault.
Do it, do it, do it.
I want to grow more. I want to grow more houseplants out the top of this tank,
Oh yeah, that'll be cool.
like a peace lily maybe, and sort of switch it up. Like all I've got's the pothos out of both these tanks right now.
I had a willow bonsai tree growing in mine. It was doing
No way, a bonsai tree?
the willow one. Well, it's
That's a
technically
new one.
bonsai is technically the technique of cutting the tree, but it was a willow made to be a bonsai tree, and had just a stick. It started out just a stick about this big, and Jason, my friend, brought it to me, and he said, "If you put this in your tank, I bet it will grow." He said, "I don't know. I'm trying to grow some myself." So I stuck it in, and it was growing great. It had leaves coming off it. It was beautiful looking, and then frickin' Sid pulled it into the tank and left it there, and I did not know it was there.
Your Atara?
Yes, Sid, my Agara. Yeah.
I thought it was your Atara.
Especially if I'm going to redo the cursed tank. I'm hoping to redo the cursed tank and show everybody on live like we did the 125. So yeah, if you have any, it's back again, that whatever it's called.
I want to look into like options, because I know peace lilies and like the common stuff. I know KJE used to sell. He would sell mangrove, I guess, trees or whatever it was. He would sell mangroves. People would grow them out of their freshwater tanks just fine.
Yeah.
Kind of want to get like a variety.
Mine's out of batteries.
I'm looking for
I'm gonna try that. I'm assuming she means the plants out of the top of her tank. You should. That would be really good. I mean, it helps with nitrates. It helps with ammonia removal. It helps with all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, I just started with pothos because of how fast they grow, and like I already have nitrate in my water, so every time in my source water, so every time I change my water, I'm putting water in it with 10 to 20 ppm nitrate. So like I need a massive plant if I'm gonna not use a RO unit or something like that.
Right.
But at least I don't have ammonia. At least it's just a small amount of nitrate. But
Right.
still, it is a bit annoying when I'm trying to do a water change and I have to think, oh, I'm not putting water with no nitrate in. It's still got nitrate. It's kind of annoying.
Dan says you look like you're in a slow-paced horror movie.
I know. I'm looking around for things and I don't know where I put things because I lose everything.
Are you wearing heels running through the woods?
Yes.
I always thought that was hilarious how they're always girls running in short skirts and heels running through the woods. And you're tripping over everything. Take the damn heels off, run.
I'm taking you all on a dance with me through my house looking for a lighter.
Yeah, I got, as far as water quality, I've gotten lucky. Like my water it's pretty great. It comes out 7.4 pH. The only problem with it, it has a KH is generally 2. So it's really,
Out the tap?
yeah, KH is 2, GH is about 4, 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites, 0 nitrates, and 7.4 pH is generally.
You are lucky.
It's like the sweet spot of all waters.
Right. Yeah,
So,
lighter.
but the problem is like with the KH being so low, the pH drops sometimes, which for my fish, most of my fish is fine.
Right.
Because I've just got saltwater fish, but then I've got the guppies and I've got the African cichlids, and those need higher pH.
Fresh coral.
Well, I was about to say I've got aragonite in it. Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, I put aragonite in with the guppies too because I have read and watched that they breed better. Not only do they breed better, but they have less complications when they're giving birth and stuff. So. But okay, guys, it's 2.5 hours. You guys
We've
still
been going a while.
I know.
But it's been fun.
I know. It has been fun. I'm just running out of things to talk about. I'm getting tired.
Well, maybe Dan will pick up the slack for us and we can go party at his house.
You should start doing a live after mine after party.
Yep, Dan the after party man.
Oh my goodness. Christopher's leaving. Bye, Christopher. We love you
Bye,
too.
Christopher.
You're so great. Don't forget about my fishies. And my mom is going too. She's going to go. Gina's getting antsy. Yes, we know. Okay. Love you, Mom. And call me later if you get the chance, if he doesn't go to sleep early.
Laura, I would love to hear about your houseplant tank combos.
I'm looking for that. I missed some things. Where'd it go?
Good night, Laura. Oh, wait. Are you not leaving, Laura? Or is she saying good night to everybody? I don't know.
I don't know. It would have to be an only Dan's night. Oh God. Good night, Laura. If you're leaving, where did that? I saw that comment, but houseplant tank combo. I have info if you want some plants. Heck
yeah. I want some more houseplants growing out of my tank for sure. But I know there's a lot of them to choose from. But I've never heard of the bonsai.
Yeah, I didn't either. I wasn't sure it would work, but yeah. So it looks like everybody's taking off. So I guess they're done.
Well, we did just say that we were tired and going to quit.
Yeah, I did say that. I didn't
be fair. To be fair.
I did. Okay. Well, I guess, if anybody has anything else to add real quick or whatever, if not, then, we can, everybody bug Dan, tell him after party. It's a lot easier to be on the chat side of live than it is on this side.
It is.
So, but yeah. Dan, are we doing after party or anybody else have anything they want to add? Dan says willow trees are good for drying up damp spots in your yard. Okay, well,
I don't have a yard, Dan. Thanks.
So we'll just put them in the tank. That'll work.
Yeah, just drop a whole tree in the tank. We're good.
Right. So, all right. So anybody? Let's see. They grow by streams because they drink a ton of water. Well, that makes sense that they would do well in the tank. Then they drank a ton of water. I keep forgetting to put comments up. So, yeah,
I've been holding my phone out for 2.5 hours too, just so everybody knows I'm on my phone.
right. I almost went on my phone because I thought about showing everybody Cole in the community tank when we talked about it, but I was like, I don't feel like holding my phone.
You should show us your fish on stream.
Well, I have before, but I'll do it again. I don't mind doing it. It's just like I have to figure out how to swish. That's
Right.
the reason I'm doing it, because I can't, with the carpal tunnel and everything in my hands, I can't hold it. My hands start shaking real bad, and all you're gonna see is this constantly. So,
Right.
John Cena can't see me,
Right.
But Dan Annie says, Dan, are you doing a stream? And he says, I suppose I can.
Yay.
Hands.
We love you, Dan. Everybody party at Dan's house.
Dan says, look at your dress. Not necessary. Just don't show us from your waist down. We're good.
Unless you want to. And then everybody else can just look away.
Yeah, so, put the hand up. Who cares? All right, so let's see.
Well, thanks for having me on again, Shirley.
Well, I like having you on. It's fun. So no problem at all. And everybody have a good time. And we will see ya at Dan's, or see you next time. Probably, maybe next Saturday. It looks like I'm going to start doing them. As long as people come, I don't mind doing them. Maybe next week, if I can get enough together to do it, we'll redo the 55 curse tank. We'll see. So I'll try to do that. If not, we'll come up with something to talk
Well,
about.
I'm sending this stuff anyway on Monday. So I'll just send you more stuff then to start the tank.
Heck yeah, that sounds great. Like I said, I'm at your what is that? At your mercy. I appreciate the help. I'm all for it. I am not going to make it any harder.
Well, I'm already paying, to ship one package. Why not just send it all at once?
Good point.
Yep.
So, alrighty, guys. I will go ahead and end this, and we'll get ready for dance party. Everybody put your night makeup on. Let's do this thing.
Thanks for coming, guys. Good to see you guys.
Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.